Good evening, folks. Hope everybody is well. Welcome to another, not a Monday night live stream, Palmsy, a Wednesday hobby hangout, and I hope everybody is okay. We had a certain Mr. Peter Nicholas saying very early in the chat earlier on, saying paint and chat with all of my hobby pals, priceless. That was a nice message to come into, mate. Thank you very much. Joachim was in early as well. Hello, Joachim. He said, I'm going to start painting now since it's 8:30 in Sweden. This was 7:30 my time. Hello, Joachim. Deep Red's going to be a bit late tonight. He's on a Facebook quiz night. I did like a bit of a pub quiz type thing with my family. I think it was like a week on Friday, where each of the different couples, we all did it like by Zoom, and we all did like a round of questions each night. It was quite good fun, actually. I enjoyed that. And then we also did randomly, my local pub did like an online like rock and roll bingo thing, where essentially instead of like bingo being with numbers, it was with like song titles and artists, and they played like a sort of a 10-second clip of it, and if you recognised the song or the artist and stuff, then you marked it off on your card, and it all done by like an app on the phone. That was quite cool. Hello Christian, how you doing? Tiberius says, alright Gadgy. Robert Zunk's in. Mike G said it's 2:20 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I always forget about the time differences and stuff. Good afternoon, mate, on your Wednesday afternoon. Busey saying, good evening, happy hobbying all. Hello, Busey, how you doing, mate? Rob says it's 12:30 in Oregon. Wow, I really do need to get on top of my time differences. Peter Kuhlman, nice to see you, Peter. Mark Burkloss in as well. Mr. Trainer Guy, is anyone else painting or building tonight? Well, I'm painting tonight, mate. I'll show you what I'm painting in a second. Let's find out what everybody else is up to as well. Palmsy's in as well, saying, hello folks, welcome to another Monday night live stream. That was never meant to be a catchphrase. It just ended up becoming that way. Luke Pryor's in as well. Hello, Luke. I hope you're well. I was watching you on the quiz thing last night with the aircon guys. Sorry. Yeah, it seemed quite fun. Robert he's an Imperial Astromech for Star Wars Legion and some half-finished Athenian Marines for Mortal Gods. It's a nice mix of stuff, mate. Mr. Kelly's in there as well. Hello, Tim. How are you doing? Claudia says, howdy all. Just glued my vital asset. I thought you just glued your vital assets there, mate. Your vital assets expansion for Star Wars Legion, which arrived today. Looks awesome. And be finishing his 332nd Clone Battalion squad, and then some GW Banshees for Rangers of Shadow Deep and Kings of War. That is a real mix of stuff on your table, fella. Peter says it's 28 minutes past 8, just outside of Southampton. Yes, we are starting. We're here, and we are rocking and rolling, folks. We've got Millennium Falcon in. Hello, fella. How are you doing? Haven't spoken in a little while. Hope you're well. We've got Matt Mountain says, woo! Hashtag Whip Wednesdays, what we're all working on. I'm painting vampires for Empire of the Dead. Nice, mate. I look forward to seeing some 40s. Mr. Cliver, nice to see you, sir. How are you doing? Palmsy saying 6 in the head's you, isn't it? Just read this month's. Yes, Mr. Palmsy. So anybody please check out 6 in the Head on Twitter. Does like a bi-monthly kind of tabletop and music magazine. Definitely worth checking out. I've just been reading tonight before I came online. Palmsy's just having a chill tonight. John Estels has been a busy day, so he's not painting. Let's see how interesting watching paint dry is. It's not as fun as it sounds, mate, to be fair. Steve Evans, hello. James Zorm's in as well, saying, bye tonight, happy for a paint and chat. Nice one. I was getting a bit worried beforehand, just about 5 minutes to go. There was about 3 people, and I'm thinking, everybody just forgotten about it, but we're all right now. The numbers are going back up. Tim's on the Burrs and Badgers. I'm looking forward to seeing them all done, mate. We've got Craig McCartney in as well. He's not painting, to do a bit of tidying up. Taking him ages. He keeps finding comics and RPGs he's forgotten he owned. Rob Marshall's in. Hello, mate. He's asking what's on people's painting tables. Tony Booth Leiden, good evening to you, mate. Thank you for sharing, Christian. That saves me trying to point people in the right place. Barry saying it's 2:30 in Chicago. Got Jonathan Elgie. Hello, Jonathan. How are you doing? Simon Parfit says, hello, not painting, doing the dishes. Get your priorities right, sunshine. Charm says his message cut off. He's working on his war cry terrain. Nice one, mate. We've also got Lee Reynolds in. Hello, Lee. How are you? He's painting his agent, Chaplain. I wish my abyssal dwarfs had come. Yeah, soon, mate. Luke said it's been a while since he bought Mantic stuff, but has the quality improved since Dead Zone first edition? Putting together the Marauders, flashing and warping is pretty poor. Yeah, it's improved a lot, mate. I must admit, the first, like the real old Warpath stuff wasn't the best, to be fair. Mark's got a bit of read of the campaign book tonight. Mr. Trainer Guy's painting his Walking Dead survivors. Got all the main ones and most of the walkers done. Nice one. Yoakum's on his survivors as well. Peter says he's got his new joggers on, his BlackJack Legacy t-shirt, he's painting some brushes. Nice one, mate. Yeah, just find something that needs painting. Tony said, listen to the Patreon podcast today. Really good fun, thought-provoking. Mrs. BlackJack has a great voice for radio. Don't tell her that, mate. Don't tell her that. She'll get a big head. Kieran says, just finished washing up, so he's going to have a tinny. I'm on the water tonight, although I'm only, to be fair, you know the speed I drink. That'll probably last me about 6 hours. He's got these samurai tested on stuff on as well. Peter Cooman's finishing his basing on his Walking Dead models. Tony Howell, evening my lovelies. Scott's watching from work, but he has started painting his Dead Zone Plague. We've got Bobby Clark in. Nice to see you. We've got 60 Primaris heads this evening. Have you done something wrong, mate? It sounds like a punishment. Neil's finishing his night tonight from the Shelf of Shame and then on to the next unfinished project. That's what I like to say, mate. Getting projects finished. Luke says, glad to hear Mantic's improved. To be fair, mate, I mean, the new resin stuff and that is absolutely fantastic quality. The plastics are good as well. They are a cut above the older stuff, which is a bit ropey sometimes, to be fair. Right, let's get across to the painting then. So tonight, folks, I am painting something a little bit different. I'm painting dinosaurs. So this is a Utahraptor. And this is for a game called The Drowned Earth, for those that are familiar with it or those that aren't familiar with it. However, I'm not painting it for The Drowned Earth. So I, this week, received the guys at The Drowned Earth, who are called Olmec Games, I think it is, have got a new Kickstarter coming next week. And they have sent me a demo copy of that new Kickstarter to have a playthrough and to kind of tell people what I think of it. So I'm painting these up because I'll be filming later on this week. And the game is basically called I think it's called the Elia Chronicles. And it is basically it's a solo campaign board game miniatures game crossover, really, and it can be solo or it can be played multiple players with co-op, and essentially it think of it a little bit like Hellboy, where it's story driven, and as you reach certain conditions in the game, you flip over the scenario cards and it tells you something happens. So you don't know what your mission is really. You do the first thing on the card, and then the card will flip either if you've achieved that first objective or if something else happens in the game, and then it'll tell you what you have to do after that. So yeah, it's really interesting. I've played through a few sort of demos of the first scenario, and I've really enjoyed it so far. So yeah, so I'm painting these up to get them on the stream, on the channel rather. Christian's saying that the miniatures for Drowned Earth are exceptional, although some are a pain to put together. Yeah, some of these were a bit fiddly, mate. I always struggle with gluing together metal miniatures. I think I use too much super glue. I think that tends to be my problem. Where we are. Luke's saying dinosaurs are not used in miniatures games enough. They certainly aren't, mate. They certainly aren't. So, Christian's saying the miniatures from Drowned Earth are exceptional, although Siri trying to talk me. Although some are a pain. Yeah, we were just say about that. Skullmunch is in as well. Hello, Skullmunch. So, I'm going to get on with some painting then, folks. We might as well make a start. So, I've got 3 of these Utahraptors. There's another one over there, so I've got 3. And then I have 6 of these. The difference in size is a little bit different. These are the Dilophosaurus. So the ones that have the kind of, I'll bring it a bit closer to the camera and you can see them. I mean, they are very small, but they are also very, very detailed. So I'm not going to be kind of going to town on these things. That they are small. Like if you see them in comparison to that guy kind of thing. Yeah. So let's make a start on this. So I'm starting with, this colour is Underbelly Blue by P3 Paints. From when I used to play War Machine and Hordes, used to get these little sets, and I'm going to use this one just to kind of, funnily enough, to do Underbelly. So again, I'm on the wet palette tonight as well, trying to be pro for you folks. Scott said he's getting excited for his Code 1 arriving. Yeah, mine, God knows where mine is, but we'll see when it arrives. We'll see. So yeah, I've zenithal primed these basically just so they were a bit easier to see on the screen really against the white background. And essentially all I'm doing is just doing a really kind of, not a glaze as such, but a really thin down layer of this Underbelly Blue. And we're going to come up like under its chin and onto its lower jaw. So yeah, so the game itself, Elia Chronicles, it's interesting because the base game is going to ship without any miniatures. So it's going to come with kind of like card standees. And when I first heard this, I thought, oh, this is not really something I should be kind of maybe previewing or anything like that. But it was explained to me the reasons behind it. And it's because obviously some of the audience will be Drowned Earth players. And a lot of the audience will already have a lot of the miniatures from playing the Drowned Earth. So the core pledge will just come with kind of card standees. So if you already have the miniatures, or you just want to kind of dip your toe in and see what it's about, you can pledge at that level. And then if you want to, you can upgrade your pledge to include the miniatures as well. So it's more a case of giving people options rather than forcing players who've already spent good money on Drowned Earth stuff to part with more money for stuff that they already own. So yeah, it's not a bad way to do it, to be fair. Now, I've never played the Drowned Earth before. I'm aware of the game, and I've just never got round to having a demo of it or playing it. But it has a dice mechanic using D10s, which is quite similar to Infinity, for those that are familiar with Infinity, where you essentially have a target number and you have to roll as close to that number or under to succeed. And it also uses, you roll 2 dice basically. So you roll an attribute dice, which is the one that needs to equal or be lower than your attribute. And then you have what's called a feat dice. And then you roll this as well. And again, you're trying to achieve the same number. And if both of your dice achieve it, you get your action. Not only have you passed your action, you've nailed it basically. And this means that you get a bit of a bonus to it. So it's just a nice way to do it, really, rather than messing about with stats. You've got these feat dice. Who else we got? Steve's saying very nice dinos. There are a lot of detail to them. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to see on camera there. I mean, there is actually like scales to it. It really is nicely done, and that's why I've tried to kind of like zenithal prime it, really, just so you can kind of see just how much detail there is on them. Scott's asking, what colours did I use on my panel models? I think I primed them, mate. I think, looking at my paints in front of me here, I'm pretty sure I did it with a Kanto blue base with the airbrush, and then I think I highlighted it up. Was it a Kanto blue or a McCrag blue? It might have been, I think it was the Kanto blue, yeah, the darker one. And then I think I used, might have been Calgar blue as a highlight, just to kind of lighten it up, mate, I think. Who else we got? We got Jimmy G there as well. Nice to see you, mate. Says he's painting Michonne from Walking Dead. What a pain she is, wearing all black, carrying a black weapon. Yeah, I think I gave her like a purple. I gave her a purple cloak, I think, for that particular reason, just to kind of get some bright colour into that model, because it is really dark, and obviously with the dark skin as well. So yeah. Tim said you should have a cabbage wet palette. Yes, mate, we should do. And I should have my half a can as a holder as well. Luke's saying, don't think he's going to paint tonight, just going to finish up some bases. That's quite nice, just to sit and chill, mate, and just to kind of let the world pass by and just put your feet up for a bit, man. Scott says he looked into Drowned Earth a while back and it looked amazing, but never followed anything up. Yeah, it's to be fair, the gent that basically sort of owns the Drowned Earth did ask me a while ago, was I interested in doing some stuff on the channel, and I just literally just didn't have the time. It was back when I was working full time, and I didn't really want to take the miniatures from him and then like not be able to kind of deliver on my promise really. So, and I just said let's get back in touch when I've got some more time really, and thankfully he kind of contact now he knows I'm doing this full time now. He got back in touch about the Kickstarter, so I'm happy to support these kind of sort of indie games companies, especially when there's some that it's a good game. Now I've played it. Spoilers for when I do my review, but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. But I did say to him, I'll be honest, like it's I'm not going to just say nice things kind of thing about it. So yeah, watch out for that. The Kickstarter I think goes live next Tuesday. So the plan, I'm waiting for some more miniatures to arrive for the hero models because there was a bit of a mix-up, and I got sent the wrong package which didn't have the hero models in. So I'm waiting for those to arrive tomorrow, I think. Otherwise, I'll have to proxy some stuff in. Otherwise, Peter says, well, these models are finished. Started an hour early. I forgot about the time zone difference. That's all right, mate. Just pop your feet up, mate. Tybreeze is saying that looks a candidate for wet on wet blending and then glazes. That's kind of what I was thinking, mate, to be fair. I think I'll just kind of like feather the two in. That's why I'm kind of coming up to a point here. I'll probably do the top and then try and just kind of mix the two in. So my plan is to use a colour called Ariman Blue. Can you see that? Ariman Blue, and do that one on the top, and kind of fade it down into the body. Something like I know what I'm doing. Probably going to cock it up, but how bad can it be? Yeah? But because I'm trying to kind of blend them in a little bit, I think I'm just going to concentrate on one miniature at a time tonight, rather than kind of going backwards and forwards between the two of them, between the three of them rather. So yeah, so I'm using a bit of that, what's it called? Ariman Blue, and then I'm going to put some Larmian Medium in it as well, just to thin it out, and I think that'll help kind of with the glaze inside rather than just using water on it at this stage. Tony says the Scott he's waiting for his code 1-2. Can't remember when he was so excited about it. Lee says the Drowned Earth could have done with a 2-player starter set. I think one of the problems with the Drowned Earth, mate, is that the minis are not particularly cheap, if I'm honest. I was looking at them online, and I think it's about 40, 45 quid for a core starter, a core set, which isn't cheap compared to some of the games. However, the sculpts are fantastic, and you do get quite a bit in the set, to be fair to the Drowned Earth. The rules are free, so I think the idea is you just buy 2 sets that you like. But I do know what you mean, mate. It's I think when it's like an independent, like a startup company, if you like, for want of a better phrase, it's quite hard to get the pricing right for those kind of things. And I think obviously distribution is a big thing as well, making sure that you get distributors. But they recently got Warcradle Studios on board as a distributor, which means it'll start to kind of filter out into the market now a little bit more. So yeah, it sounds like could be big things on the horizon for Drowned Earth, really. But yeah, the game is very narrative. The background story, it seems really good as well. I've been reading that while I've been reading the rules and stuff, and yeah, it's something I think at some point. What I'd said basically was let's not confuse things with the Kickstarter and that. But yeah, I think I'll probably give Drowned Earth a try at some point. One of the things that's kind of not put me off so much, but stopped me sort of diving into it on the channel previously, aside from lack of time, is terrain as well. I think terrain for something like the Drowned Earth, it deserves to have some really nice terrain, and it deserves to kind of show the game off to its best potential, really. And that's not something I've really had for that. So terrain is something I'm kind of looking into now, really, trying to get myself ahead of the game on terrain. Right. Mike says, working on Bissell Dwarfs tonight. Honestly think I'm better at batch painting. I think sometimes I'm a bit like that, mate. If I get myself into that kind of zone for batch painting, I can just kind of plow through it. Although I have been batch building this morning, and my God, I am not a fan of building models. It's definitely my least favourite thing to do. Peter says he's got the basics on theorem done so far. His vision's a bit poor to do the finer stuff. I tell you what, mate, my eyesight's getting shot as well. The problem is I've got like kind of reading glasses that I can put on if I'm doing kind of more detailed work. But if I put them on for the live stream, not only do I look like a complete dick, but I can't see the chat, so I'll be constantly taking them off and putting them back on again. So I'm just not painting any detail work really. This is more about just getting the base colours down and then a bit of blending and stuff, I think. Crabby's in as well. Nice to see you, fella. Tell you what, mate. Don't know how you dare be late. Nice to see you, buddy. Christian says we'd be happy to play a game of Drowned Earth once lockdown ends. He's got 2 factions and a few dinosaurs. Nice one, mate. Well, James is going to be sending me out some stuff. He actually did send me some stuff for the Drowned Earth, but like I say, the parcels got mixed up. So the stuff he sent me went to Ash Barker, and the stuff that he sent Ash Barker came to me. So yeah, it's been a bit of a mix up there. But anyway, it will come eventually. But yeah, I'd love to have a go, mate. I'd love to have a go with you. We'll have to arrange it, 100%. Eric Spillman just subscribed there. Thank you very much, Eric. I'm not sure whether you're watching or not, or whether it's just somebody subscribing to another one of my videos, but they all help. They all count. Scott saying you're getting that plastic plant stuff from me. To be honest, I forgot about that, mate. That is exactly the kind of stuff. Exactly the kind of stuff that the Drowned Earth needs. Plastic plant stuff. So yeah. So yeah, what I'm trying to do with these folks, I want to try and make it quite bright, because I want it to kind of stand out on the board a little bit, and but I also want to, I just want to do them relatively simply, because if I do go on and kind of play a lot of the Drowned Earth, I'll probably go back and sort of touch them up a bit more. But these are literally going to be on one video. They've got to be good enough and do justice to the miniatures. But yeah, like I say, they're going to be on one video for the Kickstarter. So yeah, so I decided to wait to see how much I liked the game before I dove in and started painting the miniatures. Because if I didn't really like the game very much, I think I would have probably I would have not sort of spent the time doing a big long back rep and stuff. I'd have just basically showed off the mechanics and things. So that's, I tell you what, that does look very turquoise on that screen. I think you were saying before, Tiberius, weren't you? That looks a lot more turquoise. I've been checking the colour stuff as well, because like that's way more blue. They're a lot closer actually in real life. It's weird that for some reason those blues are a bit different. So we'll let that one dry, I think. Or do I? Do I? Yeah, I think I'll let that one dry a bit, because I think what I might do is put a wash over it to darken it down, and then try and wet blend some lighter colours over the top of it. Because I'm basically going to be painting some of these feathers and stuff more purple, I think. I think they'll stand out quite nicely. In fact, no, I'm going to do the purples while I'm on. What am I going to use? I'm going to use this, which is a really old GW one called Lich Purple. Where are we up to? Tiberius says, get you on the address book with Ash Barker. How things have changed, mate, eh? How things have changed. I'm sure he feels exactly I'm sure he feels exactly the same. Scott's saying you can drop off Friday, mate. Just drop us a message with the address, and I'll leave them on your doorstep, mate. Do you know what, mate? That would be very kind, actually, because I might use them as a bit of scatter terrain for this for the video if that's the case. Yeah, I'll be in touch, mate. Thank you. Krabby Vision says nice colour choice, mate. Love it. It's, to be fair, mate, I think it's quite close to the actual. Well, let me just get comfy here. I think it's quite close to the actual kind of like the miniature colours on their page, to be fair. But I'm just trying to keep it very simple. Matt Mountain, thank you very much for the donation, mate. Says, yeah, blue-green dinos. Thanks, mate. With purple hair now as well. So you can kind of see how it's starting to come together now. I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I've said many times, and I know Peter Nicholas is going to say, oh, you say that all the time. I am an average painter. I am not a good painter by any stretch. But I like to think that I've got a bit of an eye for colour. And I think colour theory gets me away with a lot of lack of skill. I think what I lack in skill, I make up for in kind of getting some nice colours together. So I think just you can see that's how that's popping already, really. So yeah, I'm happy with them colours. Let's have a look. Claudio's saying, what about Google glasses? You should be a Photoshop crossover where you always see your mini painted when you look at them. I tell you what, mate, we're probably not far off something like that. I tell you, I think the more social distancing and stuff becomes a thing, I think the more we'll see innovation in like online kind of conferencing type technologies and sort of all of that kind of weird stuff. I think is the longer it goes on, we'll start to see some real innovation breakthroughs. And it wouldn't surprise me if gaming, tabletop gaming. Can you imagine if you were wearing glasses and you could, your friend's wearing glasses and you can see what's on his table and it kind of almost superimposes it onto yours. So you play on two separate tables but just with your miniatures. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, not as good as being face to face, to be fair, but at least you get that tabletop experience. I don't think we're far away from stuff like that. Tony's having a chat there. Sorry, Ben Davey, nice to see you, mate. This is more than what I miss. Turns out getting up at 5:30 was a little ambitious. I tell you what, mate, getting up at 6 is bloody good, to be fair. Where I'm painting dinosaurs, mate, tonight. So there you go. That's what you've missed so far. Me talking about dinosaurs. The hardest bit with these was when I was sticking them together. My son was sitting right next to me as well, and you could just see on his face he couldn't wait to get his hands on some toy dinosaurs. And as you all know, when you're trying to glue together metal miniatures, and I had to pin some of this as well, it's a bit of a pain in the backside, and I was trying to wait for the super glue to go off. I've always, like I said before, I've struggled with with getting metal miniatures to stick, and I'm pretty sure now, after doing a bit of searching and stuff, I just use too much super glue. And I do need to buy an activator as well, to be fair. So, although I don't do a lot of metal miniatures, when I do, I suffer. So, yeah. So anything I can. If anybody's got any tips, I've also tried putting a bit of tissue paper in the joint as well. That seems to work. Somebody's told me about putting bicarbonate of soda in. I haven't tried that one. But yeah. Any little tips? Always most welcome. Tim says, in the 3 years I've gone from perfect eyesight, 0.5 lenses now need 2.5 to 3. Joys of getting old. Tim, it comes to all of us, doesn't it? It definitely comes to all of us. So now I'm just going to very, very lightly try and just, it's like a ridge runs down the back. And I'm just trying to pick it out without balls in it, basically. I don't mind if it runs a little bit because I'm going to put some kind of markings on it, but I'm trying my best to just keep a bit of a steady strip down the back here. One cross-eyed, I think, just trying to keep my eyes on this. This is a bit that we always talk about every week where I say it's like Turn your radio down to part of the car. Going quiet while I'm trying to. So I think that's kind of standing out. We'll get a bit of a wash or something over that, I think. I'd even thought about using contrast paints on these, but I think actually there's not that much in terms of kind of sort of heavy details for those contrasts to run into. I'll probably use them for the smaller ones though. That'll be a better thing, I think. So yeah. Anyway, folks, how was everybody's week going? What you all been up to? Are you managing to stay sane this week? I think everybody gets the odd bad day here and there. I was a bit of a grumpy bugger this morning when I got up for whatever reason. I don't know if I've had a bad dream or something, but yeah, I was a right grumpy bugger this morning. Mr. Tracy's little tip I've been doing, I found it better than Zenithal highlighting is spray the model black and do a light dry brush of white. You can control the highlighting more and get better results. I did mine with an airbrush, to be fair, so you can control it, but I think that's a really good suggestion, mate. King John's in as well, says, hey Andy and everyone, or he did before I jumped off. Making deliveries out in the wild panhandle of Texas. Always makes me smile. Thank you again, Matt, for that donation as well. Much appreciated, matey. Scott says he's got a full topiary bowl for me. Thank you, mate. That is very, very kind of you. Peter says, I think I'm going to show my painted minis on eBay from now on, so they'll be pro painted. That's the way, mate. Pro painting all the way. Hey ho, go pro. Yeah, so I'm just now all I'm doing, folks. I'm coming back in with that underbelly blue, just to try and raise it up a little bit more. And the idea is, while it's still a little bit wet, I'll come in with the blue and just try and feather the join really. So what I don't want is like a perfect stripe along the side there. I want to just sort of kind of a little bit blended. So I'm just running the two together now, really. Obviously off camera. And just trying to blend them in a little bit. And this is not something I normally do, to be fair. I wouldn't say this is not my normal skill level, but like I say, these are going to be used on one video for now. If it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world, so it's worth trying some little tricks and stuff while I'm doing it. What I'm doing is it's almost like a glaze, really. I've really thinned down the paint. I mean, you can see there it's hardly covering it sometimes. And I'm just trying to blend the two together. I'll do the other side there before that dries up. Actually, what I might have to do is just bring a bit more of that into that join there to wet it down a little bit. And then come back in with the blue and just kind of feather up a little bit. And just blend that across. Quite happy with how that looks. And I'll just do the same all the way across. John Francis in. Good evening, John France, sir. How are you doing, mate? Scott's saying that's a beauty of dinosaurs. You can go some weird and wonderful colours. Yeah, it does help that, mate, doesn't it? That you're not fixed with that kind of stuff. Type says dinosaurs would be seriously useful minis to have around. Yeah, I think, you know, like for a lot of kind of like homebrew type rules and stuff, you know, putting dinos in is quite a nice thing. Red Rose Wargaming donated $2 to Super Chat, £2. Thank you very much. Said, saw me in the latest episode of Six in the Head. I was rather proud to get my name in there. To be fair, thank you very much, Mr. Palms. What colour am I using? I'm using blue, aren't I? I almost balls that up there, getting confused about what colours I was using. Yeah, I was kind of my name was read out in the news there about me going full time now, which was really nice, and I really appreciate that, Palmsy. It's nice to be part of a really cool community, and I honestly see your magazine is part of that as well, mate. I love the way it's a bit of a bridge between music and minis as well. You don't see that so much. I mean, pretty sure most people listen to music of some sort, you know, even if it's just in the car with the radio on. People have musical tastes, and it's nice to pull those two things together sometimes. I'm sure a lot of people listen to music while they're sitting painting. People like a bit of music while they're gaming as well to kind of set a bit of atmosphere. So why not combine the two? Well, I'll be honest, folks. These are kind of painting themselves tonight. This is not a bad little thing to do. I'll just read your comment there. Tony Tiger, nice to see you, mate. How are you doing? It says, just getting back in the model after 20 years away, lockdown's fault, and decided on bolt action. But after watching your video on Monday, I'm waiting Dead Zone starter. Well, I was gonna. Sorry if I've sent you off down a different path, mate. But you've picked a good game to dive back in with, mate. Really, really good game, mate. So yeah, congrats on welcome back to the hobby world. Krabby saying, really love those Drowned Earth minis. They look really good. Yeah, the quality is particularly nice, mate. To be fair, I mean, they are all metal. So if you're not into metal minis, it's a consideration. But the quality is really good. And the ones I've got coming, because the minis for the new game haven't been produced yet, obviously, because they're part of a Kickstarter. He was just sending me some kind of like proxy minis from the Drowned Earth, but because it got ballsed up a little bit with the delivery issue, that's actually bought him a little bit more time. So he's sending me resin prints of the actual characters that will be in the Kickstarter. So I'm looking forward to getting them tomorrow because I'll be the only person with a set of them. So it'll be nice to show them off as part of the video. Yeah. Yes, that was the comment I was laughing at. Palmsy saying you were so preoccupied about whether you could paint these models, you didn't start to think you should. That is brilliant, mate. That's probably made me belly chuckle. Luke says, fucking get the paints out. A moment of laziness being squashed by Andy being awe-inspiring. I tell you what, mate, that's what these streams are about. Do you know what? Like, it's the whole thing of like sometimes you feel like you're held accountable a little bit by them. Like I certainly do. Like yes, I had to paint these anyway. Like for the video I'm going to do, but I might have put it off tonight. I might have just went, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow or something, or I'll do it while I'm watching TV. But it's nice to kind of hang out and be part of the group and get them done. So yeah. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Just checking some stuff there. That's it. Making sure that it hasn't frozen or anything like that. Paranoid about that now. I've had some technical issues recently. Scott says he's using isopropyl alcohol as an activator. It works a treat. I've not tried that, mate. I think essentially that's what's in activators, isn't it? I'll have to try that. But I did read that basically the more super glue you put on, the worse it gets. And that actually, if the parts are quite fine, what you should really do is sort of put your super glue onto like a plastic tray or something and use like a toothpick to apply it, like so that it's really, really fine. And you'd be surprised that it actually goes off a lot faster and a lot stronger. So I discovered that after I'd stuck these together. So I'm going to try that for the next ones, I think. Ben Davies says, what game is this for? My son loves dinosaurs. These ones are actually for a game called The Drowned Earth. But the creators of The Drowned Earth have a new game coming soon called the Liar Chronicles, which is based in the world of The Drowned Earth. And it's coming to Kickstarter next week. And I'm going to be filming a video for it later this week. So that's what these are for that video, for that game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to filming that, to be fair. It's the game's fun. If you're into solo games, like, you know, things like kind of Rangers of Shadow Deep or whatever, I think you'll really enjoy it. If, like me, you like The Walking Dead for its sort of co-op sort of abilities as well, the fact that you can almost like bring a new player into the game, it has that as well. it's definitely narrative. There's no element of kind of competitive nature to the game. It is definitely a narrative-driven game, so that it's all about the scenarios and the stories, and it's kind of card-driven. I'll go into more details when I do the actual video, so you know what I mean. But it's kind of right up my street if I'm being perfectly honest. It's something I can play on my own. It's something I can play. Like I'm gonna play it again tomorrow night just to make sure I get as many games under my belt, so I'm like extra comfortable on camera, and I'm not kind of like having to keep stopping and pausing and checking rules and stuff. But I'm going to get a game in tomorrow night as well, and my wife's going to play it with me, because I'm figuring if I can teach her, that means it's clear in my head as well. I always kind of figure that's the best way for me to learn something, is if I know enough to teach somebody else how to play, then that's I'm onto a winner there really. So that's looking good. I'm happy with that. Now I think what I need to do is to really I'm going to really thin out that purple, and with a bit more Lamy and medium. I'm going to use it as a bit of a glaze just over the back. Get a little bit of colour into it. Tony's saying, I guess the youngin's vocabulary was expanded while you glued them together. Do you know what it is? He did keep looking at me and going, what's wrong, Dad? What's wrong? As I was going, just gritting my teeth. I think he thought he was in trouble a couple of times. Poor little bugger. Yeah, he was sitting at the dining table, kind of having his evening meal, and I'm like, I'm trying to glue these things together, cursing under my breath, like a sailor. Yeah, so all I'm doing here, I'm just using that really watered down purple, almost just trying to like kind of tint the skin really, and give some kind of, you know, like sort of tiger stripe kind of effect type thing. Like I said before, I'm winging it really. I'm just kind of seeing how it turns out. I balls it up. What's the worst that happens? I have to paint over it. Yeah. So Lucian's going to go to Screwfix and get mitre joint set. I've seen the mitre joint sets, mate, but it doesn't say that it works for metal. Because I almost just bought one from Amazon, because Amazon sell the same ones, and I almost bought that. But yeah, it says that basically it doesn't. Well, it doesn't say that it works for metal. Sorry. Jimmy G saying bicarbonate and super glue makes a great gap filler. Can be filed smooth after. I've never tried it, mate. To be fair, I've used for plastic where people say about like melting down a bit of plastic sprue with the glue itself can make like a kind of like a gap filler. I've seen that, but I've never tried it with super glue. I think what I'm trying to not do here is for them to make them too uniform. Basically, I think I end up psychologically, I think, just automatically just trying to space them out, and that's not really what I'm trying to do. So anyway, I think that's probably enough for one side. Even better if it was on the camera. Yeah, I think it gives it a little bit of something, even if it's not exactly what I wanted. So. Can always give it a blue wash over the top as well. It'll just kind of tie it down a little bit. Yes. So I almost kind of forgot I was sitting on a stream there. Just kind of zoned out, painting dinosaur markings. Steve Bonner's back at work tomorrow just as his next project arrives. Matt's saying Activator was a game changer for him. Yeah, I've never used it, mate, and every time I piss and moan about it, somebody always says, do you use Activator? And I'm like, oh man, I completely forgot about it again, didn't I? Jonathan saying, never use them myself, but wonder what colour shift paints from places like green stuff would be like on dinos. I think they'd look great, mate, to be fair. I think it would really give a nice effect. I've got some metallic paints actually from, I think they're in-store ones that came in one of those kind of like model box things that you get. I got sent some a little while ago, like as a just to kind of have a look at the model box sets, and I've never tried them yet. And the colours would be perfect for the dyno, but I didn't want it to look metallic basically. So I need to kind of blend those in a little bit so they don't look like it's like a tide mark type thing, really. I think just feather the edges there a little bit, I think. Yeah, but I'm just kind of experimenting, really. I wouldn't normally do like paint something like this, really. So it's nice just to do something a little bit different. I think that's a little bit better. I think we're getting a bit of a harsh kind of tide mark by watering that stuff down. So it's just blending in the edges a little bit, just breaking that up, making it look more like kind of like markings rather than somebody's got a paintbrush and painted the stripes on its back. So yeah, I'm a bit happy with that now. It's not too bad. Get that on camera. What's that? Oh, I think it's just where it's wet there, it's shining on camera. It looked like I'd missed a bit. Right. I wonder what kind of colour would do. Let's get like a nice bright pink for the tongue. So I'm going to use Pink Horror. Give it a nice pink tongue to it. Where we are. Scott's saying, apart from the worry of his mother being ICU, he's coping well. Yeah, sorry, mate. I did mention on Facebook. Yeah, is there any more news, mate? Is she on the mend? Is it getting any better, any worse, or anything like that? The fingers crossed and all that kind of stuff, mate. I hope everything's okay. Robert's saying he's been helping his wife in the garden, move pavers and bricks around. You're a grafter, sunshine, aren't you? Mike says, would Activator work on Gorilla Gel Glue? I'm not sure, mate. I really like Gorilla Gel Glue, but I can't get any at the minute. So I'm using like, what's the stuff I've got? Like Loctite, like just the normal runny stuff. I wouldn't normally use it. I mean, it works, but... VG Morph, good morning, sir. Red Rose Wargaming, thank you again for the donation. Much appreciated. Tony says, just got 6 spray cans at Activator off Amazon for 20 quid. And I used the Army Painter one, but it works at expensive and evaporates like mad. Yeah, I was looking on Amazon to pick some up, mate, but to be fair, I got a bit put off because I wasn't sure whether I was buying the right stuff or not. And I wasn't sure if some worked. Oh, this is a brand new pot. I've never even opened this one before. I wasn't sure if some didn't work with certain super glues or anything like that. So yeah, I'll need to just buy some, I think. Steve's saying, interesting day today. Wasn't feeling brilliant this morning. Got into work, felt worse. Had a bit of a cough. Come on. Was sent home and put in isolation for a week. Hopefully, just a cold. Fingers crossed, it's just a cold, mate. God, it's I feel like at the minute I'm hearing more cases of people like sort of feeling a bit ill just at a time when it should be starting to quieten down now. Thankfully, it looks like my sister's she's on the mend, I think. Certainly not getting any worse, and she's getting better. It's never kind of deteriorated too bad. She's had the tests and stuff, but it's that they should get results in 48 hours, but it might take up to 5 days. So I think they're just kind of checking to make sure that she's okay, really. But yeah, she seems all right. Yeah, Tony's right, saying hopefully it's just the crap weather. Yeah. Krabby likes a bit of a sing song. Barry Kleiber, music and minis. Why didn't I think of that? Way cool. Claudio, someone mentioned Dead Zone. We just wake you up there, Claudio, mate. You're all right. I must be well behind the chat. Where are we at? Oh, God, I'm like 20 minutes behind. Let me dive forward a little bit. Big Bad Beato's in, says, hey, hey, hey. Nice to see you, mate. Roxanne's in as well. Even all occupied painting British Paris. But SOTR, let me think if I can work out what that is. So, is it something of the Rhine? Is it Secret of the Rhine? Is that the one? Not the Rhine, the Reich, sorry. Secrets of the Third Reich, maybe. Could be that one. We thought I'd say hello. Hello, Roxanne. Peter Max in as well. Says, think my internet hates you, mate. Nothing to paint until I make a new order. Oh, sorry, mate. That's nothing worse than running out of stuff. Claudia saying, looking forward to seeing them painted by you, Krabby. Yeah. A paper clip to apply super glue, mate, works well. Yeah, that's what I've been reading, mate. I think I just get frustrated and put more and more super glue on until eventually I'm making it worse for myself. Yeah, Claudia's saying I use one layer of multi-layer toilet paper. That's exactly what I end up doing, mate. I end up using kitchen paper, toilet paper to do these ones. Let's have a look. This is why we're on about making models. Any advice on making Mantic resin minis? I've had no problems with them, mate, to be fair. They've always stuck pretty good for me. I've never really had any issues with them. So hopefully you have no issues either. Right, let's have a quick look. I feel like, let's have a look and see what colour washes I've got here. Have I got a purple wash? No, I don't think I have actually. Let's just use this watered down stuff. I want to run a little bit into the kind of the back of like the nostril areas into here, just to create a little bit of shade. Make do, hey? Make do, that's the way to do it. That's me, he's going quiet again, bloody hell. What else we got? Everybody's having a bit of chat. Luke's in there, sorry. Might a joint set only says nothing about metal because it's set for carpenters. Fear not, it will work. Thank you, mate. I'm sure I've seen loads of people say it does, but I've never actually looked at the bottle before. And when I looked at the bottle on the picture on Amazon, it was like, oh, it doesn't say anything about metal. I wonder whether it'll actually work. So yeah, I appreciate the advice because I think that's what I'll order tomorrow. Because when my what they called again, when my Code 1 stuff, my Operation Kalstrom comes, that's all metal as well. So I know I'm up for a fight on that one, I think. And I have got some metal bits as well from Mantic. So when my Kings of War dwarf stuff came, the Earth Elementals, they're metal as well. Let's have a look. Probably can use a 50-50 mix to blend them, mate, if you want a less harsh transition. I think essentially that's what I did by wetting the two of them, mate, to be fair. So let's try it anyway. Let's try it. You boys know what you're talking about. Let's try it. And just try and thin that out a little bit. A bit more blue, I think. Right, where are we at? Claudia says you can even use it to make single pores more different, which works fine, and use super glue. And you will hate the mold lines, just remove them with patience. Yeah, that's pretty much the case, isn't it? So yeah, on Krabby's recommendation there, I've just kind of, I think it's because I really watered it down and I was getting a bit of a tide mark around the edges, mate, to be fair, I think. Where this is just softening that edge now. I think when all of this lockdown thing ends, I might try and boot myself in for like painting class. Because I think I don't even get the basics right, I think it's just, I've just learned the wrong way over time. And I think I just paint my way. I don't think I necessarily it's not like I paint the right way wrong. Say like the right way badly. I don't even think I paint the right way. So I could do with some tips. I think even just down to things like sort of like thinning my paints properly and stuff. I think I could do with some tips. So yeah, I might boot myself in for some kind of classes or lessons or whatever the hell. Right, I think the eyes will need to be yellow to get them to pop a little bit. So we'll start with a darker yellow here. This is the Avaland Sunset, which is my go-to yellow. Let's have a look and see what everybody's up to, because I'm a little, I've kind of caught up with the chat a bit now, I think. Matt's saying, yes, it was a third rate, love it. Scott says there's a slight improvement with her, but not great deal. Just a waiting game. I think any kind of improvement, mate, is a positive sign, to be fair, these days. So yeah, to take the small positives, mate. That's it. But yeah, fingers crossed for you and the family, buddy. Peter said he's solved his vision issues. He's painting a Dread Knight. That'll do it, mate. That'll do it. Paint something twice the size. John Estel says his hordes of Water Elementals must be the heaviest units in any game. I think I've got a horde of Earth Elementals to do, and I think they're going to be exactly the same, mate. I think I'm going to be struggling to move them on the board. It's not a case of you can't take them out. It's just that I can't lift them off the board. They're too heavy, so you can't take them out. I think that's probably what's going to happen with those ones. But yeah, John, you commented, mate, in the Facebook group, and I forgot to get back to you, mate. You said about getting a game in, or something about you want to see the Brock Riders taking you off the board or something. We'll definitely have to get a game in, mate, once this is all back to some kind of ability for us to get games in again. You can teach me how to play properly anyway. So that's not too bad. I think I'll call that one there. We'll do a little bit of highlighting on the purple, I think, just to bring that up a little bit. We'll do the claws, and then I'll probably move on to another one, I think. I think it's probably best if I do do I do grey claws, do I think? I'll do them black, I think. I'll do black claws just to dull them down a bit, I think. Luke's saying painting Python from Mythic Battles Pantheon, painting single piece. Quite a coiled snake is much of a tricky bugger to get in the side scales. Yeah, mate, I think I can imagine what that must be like. Jimmy G saying the Michonne's finished. Thanks all. Stay safe. He's up for a kip. No bother, mate. Thanks for popping in. Krabby saying he would do one as well. Yeah, we'll have to look, mate, and see what's about. See if there's anything near us. Mike G says see you at the G meeting. You all the original Gs, the OGs. Richard Smith, evening all. Drowned Earth Dinos, they are, mate. As I mentioned earlier on, they are for a new game coming from the creators of the Drowned Earth, called the Alaya Chronicles, which I'll be filming a video later this week. So I'm getting them painted up, mate. That's when these live streams kind of are perfect. I've got to do some painting anyway. So why not get them on the stream? Gives me a chance to tell you what's coming up on the channel from video point of view. Gives you a chance to ask me any questions about it before the video goes live, because I haven't filmed it yet, so you can ask me all the questions you want. But yeah, it's a nice little way to do it. Right, I've missed some bits of the blue there, to be fair. We'll get on and do those bits. All right. Ben Davey. Oh, sorry, Tony Tiger. GeoCell joiners, mate, is better product than Screwflick's own brand. Used it on metal. I can't remember what the brand was, mate. The one that I'd seen. Somebody's recommended one to me before. And I can't remember its name. It might be called Mitafast. To be fair, it might be a. I don't know if Mitafast is a brand or not. But I'll have to look at it, mate. Ben Davies says, momentous day today, finishing his last Fire Slayer mini. First finished army. Congratulations, mate. What a nice feeling it is to actually have a completed finished army like that. Do you feel good for it? Well, you said momentous day, so I assume you do, mate. Congratulations. Let me just concentrate on this little bit. Richard Smith says hashtag secrets. It's not really. Well, I guess it is a secret, really. Nobody knows at this stage, do they? I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be kind of talking about it, but I said it now, haven't I? So, and you'll see on. I was wanting to get it filmed in time for Friday, but I don't think that's going to happen now. I think I'm going to be ending up spending the weekend doing the filming and editing, because I think editing is going to take quite a bit of time. So yeah, it'll be a few days worth of work, I think, on that one. But yeah, exciting. Nice to get the first. It's kind of like the first new bits of content up, really. I mean, I did my video last week, which was about the not spending for 6 months. Nice to get that up. People seem to have enjoyed that video. If you haven't watched it, please do. But yeah, people seem to have enjoyed that. Got some nice comments about kind of nice to see the content starting up again and things. So that was all good. And then obviously I'm in the background. I mean, you can't see. I've got almost a table full of. In fact, I'm going to show you one of the miniatures I've been building up, so you can see you can see what I've been getting on with. So here's a little sneak peek behind the scenes. I've been building these miniatures here, which are not that miniature, to be fair. They're a bit of a bigger scale. So I haven't glued the rider down so I can paint them separately, and I haven't glued the shields on as well, as you can see from the arm there. Shield comes across. So yeah, so I've been building these. These come in about, that must be about 40 parts, I think. So yeah, it'll been building those, and then there is again there's these guys as well. Again, I haven't got the shields on them as well. The shields are over there in a bag, because I'll do the shields separately once I've done these up. But yeah, so, and then I've got these kind of militia bowmen as well, I think. So there's these as well. So I've built, there is 4, 8, 12, 16, 18. There's 20. I've been building 20 of these, and these come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts each. So I built 20 of those over the last few days. And then I've got these as well, and there is 4, 8, 12 of these, and these come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. There's quite a few pieces on them. And then I've built 3, 4 of those knights. So one of those is a bit of a leader model. So yeah, so I mean, if I think about this one comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The knight in 9 pieces, and the horse was in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's about 11 or 12 pieces, I think that one was in as well. So yeah, so they took some time. They all had to be clipped out. They all had to be cleaned up. Yeah, took some time, but and that those however many models I had there, what did I say, 20, 32, 33, 34, 35. Those 36 models are half of the set. I've still got the other half to build. So it's all these kind of stuff I do in the background that you don't always get to see, really. So I think I mentioned in the Patreon chat the other day, it might have been today actually, that essentially I'm kind of like going full time earlier than I planned to means I'm probably a month or 2 behind where I wanted to be. Because what I wanted to do was have stuff ready to go into launch, and what I've ended up doing is kind of going, and the lockdown stuff's obviously taking up some of my time looking after my little one and stuff, rather than being able to do it during the day when he's at nursery. So yeah, I'm trying to play a catch up, really, getting in touch with companies, setting up them relationships, getting content planned, and I'm working away in the background, but it's the kind of stuff where it'll be a couple of weeks, like 3 weeks before you start to see some of it coming through. So this stuff that you're seeing now being painted up, this will be the first of the stuff that you'll see on the channel, really. So I'll not do the base yet. I think I'll leave that one. Actually, no, I'm going to highlight some of the purple, I think. And I think I'll highlight the purple by mixing a little bit of Screamer Pink with that warp black. Oh, actually, I might just do Screamer Pink. I might just do the straight stuff there. Where on earth are we on about? I'm probably well behind. People's opinions on sub-assembly. Never done it, but wish I had. I have done it in the past, mate, and I always regret it, because I end up, one of the problems, it depends upon the model. Like if you're painting the big GW Knights or something, I think sub-assemblies are great. It lets you get the exoskeleton basically, or the endoskeleton, sorry, all like kind of silver, and then the armor panels you can do a different color, and it comes out really nice and clean. But the problem is that point is terrible on that. I'm trying to get a nice clean point. Sometimes you're better off with a bigger brush with a nice point than you are going smaller. What I find is if I do them in sub-assemblies, unless it's meant to be really kind of sort of separate, you end up just spending a lot of time on stuff that gets covered over, like or gets hidden away, or you end up not like they look separate parts sometimes when they're finished. They don't look like part of a whole painted model, if you like. So that's my feelings on sub-assemblies. I think there's a time and a place for them, definitely, but it needs to be the right models, really. I think I'll just dry brush a little bit on the top of that, a bit at the top there, and we'll just put a little bit. Just making sure I am on camera here. One of these days, I have even got a little mark on my paper as well to tell me to go back, but what I end up doing is I forget that I'm actually painting on camera, and I just end up just sitting painting as if I was just sitting on my own. It's a whole different ball game painting on camera. You almost have to train yourself to keep going back to the same position. So anyway, you didn't come here to hear me bitch about painting on camera. How are we doing for numbers tonight? 56 people come in. That. Do you know what it is, folks? I am blown away by how well supported these hobby hangouts are, because it's the kind of thing that I just thought would tail off. I thought people would like the idea of it initially, but then it would kind of die away a little bit, and then the numbers would just dwindle. But if anything, it feels like the numbers are either steady or climbing at times. So yeah, as long as you folks are enjoying it and you're liking kind of having a little bit of being held accountable to come and do a bit of hobby, yeah, I'll keep doing them. So thanks, folks. Thanks for your support. Yeah, 100%. Where we are at, jumping around here. Matt Mountain Siege Studios used to run painting courses out at Element Games. I did it in London. It's a very good course. Scott Stevens, you stuffed my Brock Riders. I actually bought some from Mantic, mate, but if you don't want them, I'll still take them off your hands. No doubt they'll come in handy at some point, mate. Where we at? That's jumping around now. Richard Smith saying that night looks very cool. Heard about medieval tournament rules, so jousts and 1v1 combat. Sounded cool, but can't remember the name. I've not heard anything about that, about like medieval combat stuff. Those models are actually from Conquest, which is kind of an alternative kind of mass battle game by Parabellum, and the rules were written by Alessio Cavatore, who also wrote the Kings of War rules as well. My GC about people who paint on the sprue. I don't get that one, mate. I know a lot of like modelers do, like people who make like little model aircrafts and stuff. They do a lot of that stuff. Got Marco in as well. Says hello there, hiya mate. How are you doing? Feel like I've kind of caught with the chat a little bit now, so I can crack on. So anybody that's been holding back waiting for me, feel free to post your comments now, folks. Robert says he's got a dwarf mega army sat in a great box of shame. I'll get around to them. It's multi-base and that puts you off. To be honest, mate, it's multi-base and that I've really enjoyed, if I'm honest. One of the reasons being that you don't have to multi-base them, mate, if you don't want to be fair. You don't need to do that. But if it's putting you off, don't do it. Crabby Vision says to VG wants to going to watch a Dead Zone playthrough or two on YouTube today. If I like the rule set, I'm going to pull the trigger on the Veman starter set. I'm trying to think who the best person to kind of recommend you to. Weight of Fire have done quite a lot of Dead Zone stuff. If you look on Ash Barker's Guerrilla Miniature Games, he's got some Dead Zone stuff on there. I think Mini Wargaming's got a Dead Zone game on there as well, to be fair. Robert Marshall saying movement trace. Yeah, exactly. I'm probably saying basing as a whole is the best bit. I agree. That's the bit I enjoy the most as well, mate. But if it's not your bag, I totally get that you do it. You do it how you want to do it, kind of thing. So, but yeah, just use movement trace. Just use movement trace, mate, if that can put you off. All right, I'm just gonna dot into here just to brighten the eyes up a little bit and bring that up. One of those things that nobody will ever see on camera. You probably can't even see it here tonight, but I'll know it's there. Isn't that always the way? All right, I think that one is pretty much done. I've got to do the teeth, but I'll let the inside of the tongue and stuff dry first, and we'll crack on with the other one. The other side of it as well is doing it like this, not doing them all at once, not like sort of batch painting them, means that they're actually not quite so uniform. Basically, they're not all exactly the same, because I think when you're painting them, like sort of you paint the same color on all the miniatures, the idea is you keep them the same. But I think when you're doing this kind of stuff, more natural things like animals and things, rather than uniforms, you can end up just making them all look exactly the same. The idea with doing it like this really now is that I'll probably sort of do it very slightly different, I think. Some more underbelly blue on there, I think. Under the leg. So folks, what was your for those that were in on Monday, what was your thoughts on the Dead Zone stream? Did you enjoy that kind of format of focusing the chat on one particular game? Was it like a bit of a nice change? I'm not suggesting I do it every single week, but if I was to bring in other games like that and focus on them, and I'm not trying to sell these games to you. I don't make any money by you buying those games, but if it's a game I'm interested in and I'm bringing it to you, why I'm interested in it, why it's a game I like, or why it's a game I'm kind of considering putting on the channel or whatever. Are those kind of things cool for people? You enjoy it? John says live eye painting. Yes, mate, you saw it here. Yeah, Tony's seen Weight of Fire have some good ones. Yeah, Marx has mentioned in a few places where Mantic might see that my Dead Zone order was due to the BlackJack Legacy stream. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. It's little things like that. I'm sure Mantic are kind of. I'm sure they're aware. I mean, they did help me with the what do you call it, with the discount code. But it's nice that they see it in more than one spot, kind of thing. There's a few people I've had a few tags in stuff today, to be fair, with people kind of saying that they picked stuff up after watching the stream, so that was quite nice. Yeah, like I say, I'm not trying to sell you stuff. I'm just trying to kind of tell you the stuff that I like. So yeah, Tony saying preach, brother. Yes, thank you, Mark. What was it? Krabby says, yeah, but don't do it every week. You'll cost me a fortune. Yeah, my intention really is to try and... What I'm trying to do is like, obviously I've been doing live streams for quite some time now. And the kind of live stream that I do, I think it works better when there's a bit of a topic. I mean, it's good to have a ramble type thing. A little bit like these painting streams are really. It's good to have those kind of rambly weeks as well. But that is almost a topic in its own right, is to have those kind of ramble weeks. I think my stuff works best when there's a bit of a loose topic or a very fixed topic even, and it gives people stuff to kind of focus around a little bit. So we've got things like the fighting fantasy kind of books and stuff. We can throw them in. Again, they're not the kind of thing that you want to do too often. but they're good to do is a bit to mix things up. The random ramble ones are good to mix things up. Kind of any major news topics, a bit like I did with the GW reveals ones. They're always a good one to throw in. And then every now and again, whether it's every month or every 2 months or something like that, to throw in to highlight a game really. And I've done them in the past for things like Warcry. I've done them for Kings of War when I've especially when I kind of changed my mind on what I thought of Kings of War as well. When I thought it was a game I would never get into because of the amount of models I'd have to paint. I think those kind of ones are, if I've changed my opinion on something, I think it's quite a nice topic to talk about really, as to why I've changed my opinion. So yeah, so if folks enjoyed them, I think that's probably a bit of a plan of trying to schedule those things in, because what I want to try and do is, I don't want to leave it till the last minute about crap, what's Monday's live stream topic, which is, to be fair, is sometimes what happens. I can sometimes be almost winging it the same day kind of thing, as to say I just need something to talk about to kind of pull folks in. So the idea is to get a list of those live stream topics to plan ahead really. It's part of my programming, which sounds proper arsey. But yeah, I mean, essentially, I'm trying to put plans in place to so that you know what's coming up. It means I can share stuff with the Patreons as well, and you can get involved in kind of shaping the kind of topics we're talking about. It gives you some extra benefits as well of being a Patreon to kind of do that kind of stuff. And it also just gives you a bit of a glimpse behind the curtain, if you like, as to what's going on in the background. And it just means that things are a bit more planned and a bit more organised. This week's been one of those weeks where actually it's been a case of like the actual business side of things has been like what's been cropping up this week. So having like meetings with companies to talk about potentially getting new products on the channel and stuff for me to share, to share and show with you lot. That's kind of, I've had I had a proper telephone meeting today with a company who were really positive and stuff. So it looks like we're going to do something together. I've been like sorting out like just sitting building loads and loads of miniatures for upcoming stuff, and it's still enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. It's like it's the weirdest thing to think that something I would quite happily do anywhere is now the stuff that I'm doing for a job really. Christian saying their stream was great, but like most people, his wallet's not happy. Tony says Monday stream was really enjoyable. Made me remember how much I enjoyed the game. I got all excited to play again. There's that as well. I mean, this is not about. It's not always about new games as well. It's sometimes like for a lot of people, it's about games that you already own but you're not playing. And that goes back to what I was saying about like not spending money on the hobby for. I just noticed Carrie was on about that there, about not spending money on the hobby really. Sometimes it's about like spending time with the stuff that you already bought that you're not using really, and it's like, why are you not using it? It's like I said on my video really, it's a product that you're oh sorry, James thank you very much, mate, for the donation there. It's just pinged up in my line of sight, mate. That's why I got confused there. What's I even talking about? Yeah, it's basically about using the hobby that you've already got as well. Remembering why you bought those things, you wanted them. Let's just scroll back a little bit there. I think I missed some chat off. I was just wondering why James's comment hasn't pinged up on the screen yet. I'm assuming it'll come in at some point. Crabby saying, my missus says, can you do another stream about not spending money for 6 months? See what I can do, mate. Tony saying, Dead Zone won't be a good fit for the next weekender. To be honest, mate, it probably would. It's exactly that kind of thing. That's annoyed me that James's comment hasn't come up on the screen yet. I'm sure it will. There it is. I was starting to think something was broken there, mate, and that wasn't very fair if it was broken, especially when you've been so kind as to donate. Thank you very much, sir. Scott says, enjoyed the Monday stream. Drag out the Dead Zone stuff he's already got. Yep, exactly, mate. Roxanne saying, Monday live stream got me interested because I have an unused copy of Star Saga and more GCPS minis. Didn't know Maze and Labs faction existed. Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's about sort of, I think again, I keep referring back to that video from last week, but just because something isn't the latest hotness, if you've not played it, it's still a new game. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's not like you always have to have the latest brand new stuff. If you haven't bought it and you're buying it now, then it's still the latest stuff to you, isn't it? The trick is also having people to play against as well. So you also have to take that into consideration. But the other side is when you are buying into games that are maybe a little bit older, you can sometimes find there's a deal to be done, really. So that's all good too. Where are we up to? Scott said it's nice not to watch about GW all the time. That's why I keep coming back. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I think people will kind of back me up. I did spend quite a bit of time on Warcry, but to be fair, I was really enjoying it as well. And I know some people were kind of, I think there might have been a feeling that I'd basically abandoned everything else and I was only ever going to talk about Warcry again. But it was a bit of a double-edged sword, basically. The more I talked about Warcry, the more the channel was growing. And at the same time, I was really enjoying it. But yeah, it's the whole point of this channel, and especially the whole point of me going full time. I want to be able to give an opportunity to the companies that get pushed out by GW. Everybody does GW content because it's the only stuff that gets loads of views. So, but my content's doesn't work by kind of getting loads of views. It works by engaging you lot and getting you interested in what you're interested in. So yeah, it's nice to not do GW stuff. I can't even pronounce that name. Barfed something. Do you watch Peppa Pig? Only when forced. There you go. William Jones says, general rounds are more relaxed and hangout. Focused topics are more informative. I really like the short punch list reviews you've done in the past without live stream. They're all good. Thank you, mate. I guess that what I'm trying to do is just keep mixing it up, really. Keep things interesting. So, because I think if I only ever did kind of Monday live stream type topics, I think like eventually people would get a bit bored of it, really. So I'm just trying to give variety and give people a sort of lots of different things to tune in for. So as basically as the content I'm working on in the background starts to come to the front and you start to see it, you'll start to see that kind of variety really coming through, I think, on the channel. But yeah, I'm excited. Exciting times. Exciting times. Mr. Trainer Guy says, can you recommend any nice brushes? This can be a major issue for people to find. Thanks if you can, bud. I think I mentioned before on these streams, I use these Artis Opus brushes. I've used Winsor & Newton as well. I've got Winsor & Newton here. I've got a Winsor & Newton brush here as well, which I quite like. I think the ones from Rosemary & Co. are good brushes. I think essentially it's just you looking after a brush. Looking after brushes is the thing that will give you the biggest lift, I think. Making sure that they keep their point. You tend to find brushes can last a bit longer when you look after them as well. So you don't mind spending a little bit extra money on them because you know you're going to get your money's worth out of them. They're going to last for a while. I think that's basically the biggest advice I'd give, mate. Get yourself a good brush soap, something like Masters brush soap, and then see what that does with the existing brushes you've got. Because you should always have a good brush soap regardless of what brushes you've got, to be fair. I think that would be where I would start before spending too much money on brushes. I'm trying to just blend that in a little bit because it's a bit of a harsh line on that. Look at me wet blending. Who'd have thought it? This from the Agrax Earthshade King. Yeah. Yeah, a bit of chat about brushes there as well. Henrik, nice to see you, Henrik. Says that's really awesome. I think people interact is more important than just views. There's a lot of non-GW tabletop content in general. There's a lack, sorry, I thought you said a lot there. Yeah, I agree, mate, there is. And to be honest, the companies I'm speaking to, that's exactly what I'm telling them, is that basically like, that's my plan. Like I'm not, my idea is that basically my channel isn't based around GW stuff. I'm trying to cater to an audience that maybe isn't catered to. And it might not be big enough for some channels. Like some channels might say, well, I'm never going to get to 100,000 subscribers with the amount of people that don't play GW stuff. That's fine. I just want to build a community. I want to give people what they want. I want to make the content I want to watch, because I don't see the stuff that I want to watch necessarily online, because everybody's focused on talking about 40k or talking about kind of Age of Sigmar or whatever it is. Because it's like I mentioned before, basically you can do, if GW puts a piece of news on their community site, if you can get a video made as quick as you can and get it up there, people will watch it, and you'll do thousands of views off it, because people are sometimes just too lazy to read what GW have posted, or they don't read what GW have posted. And it's a very quick way to get lots of views. Just not my preferred way. Don't enjoy it, you know what I mean? Like it's quick content, but it's not necessarily enjoyable content. So yeah, anyway, that's that stuff. Yeah, V. Jason uses brush soap. Tim Kelly says, after Monday I went back and watched your 5 things about Dead Zone. I like those short and to the point ones. Yeah, I intend to make a few more like that, mate, as well, to be fair. I think at the minute I'm just I'm obviously trying to build up the content. So I think, like, I don't think I'll probably go much more than probably 3 videos a week, purely because I think I'll sacrifice quality for quantity, I think, if I do that. So that's the plan, really, is to, unless I suddenly find I've got a stack of time on my hands. But yeah, what I don't want to do is to sacrifice the quality for that. So yeah, we'll see how that goes in the short term. VJ saying I even use brush soap, dollar store brushes. Yeah, to be fair, mate, if you look after any brushes, they should last well. I mean, I've got this cheap brush that I nicked out of my son's kind of little hobby kit thing, like a cheap painting set that I use for, like, just taking paint out of pots and stuff like that, and just use it for, like, maybe for washes and stuff. I still use brush soap at the end of a session with it. Vijay saying, thanks everyone who took the time to answer his painting question on the Discord. You are most welcome, mate. That's exactly what the kind of thing's for. Scott's got Winsor & Newton Series 7, which I'm too scared to use, as I don't want to ruin them. Yeah, mine's a Series 7 one, mate. To be fair, they take a bit of a bash in mind, I must admit. Krabby says, just a point to note, Valrak, who has over 100,000 subs, currently has 150 people watching his hobby chat. I think your community focus sets you apart, mate. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's if he's got 150 people watching him, and he's got 150, has he got 100,000 subs? Did you say? Let's say he's got 100,000 subs. What's that? It's like 1.5%. Is it 1.5? 100,000. Is it 1.5%? It's not even that, is it? Like 10% will be 10,000. My maths is not. It's like 0.15% of his subscriber base. So yeah, I'm happy, mate. I will grow over time. Valrak's got a really passionate community of people who love 40k, and they love angry 40k. I think that's the kind of community that I see there. It's not necessarily the kind of community that I personally want to be a part of, but that's because I don't play 40k seriously, and I'm not really into the angry side of it. the Bash GW or the Bash other players kind of thing. But there does seem to be certain topics that seem to provoke that in people, and you can climb the YouTube ladder quite quickly by provoking controversy and just getting reactions, basically, like just sort of outraging people by just saying outrageous things. Even if people don't like you, they come and watch your stuff to see what you're talking about, kind of thing. Like what angry thing is he going to say today that I'm going to disagree with, kind of thing. So there's a whole kind of culture of balls out, didn't I? I don't know why that was wet. There's a whole culture of that kind of outrage stuff. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I love our community. I've said before actually that like I like the fact that it's manageable. I like the fact that I know most of who you are. Like maybe not the new folks, but you keep coming back, I'll know who you are, kind of thing. I like the fact that we're a community that know each other, and the chats are not so busy that we can't keep up, and it's just a big wall of text that's scrolling by, like you see with these big streamers and stuff like that. I almost kind of think like you're not really interacting with the community because you couldn't possibly keep up with it. All you're doing is you're just streaming, almost like a radio DJ. Basically, you're just performing and hoping people are enjoying it, because it's going far too fast to try and see if anybody's enjoying what you're doing. Interesting. Let me just. That's just. Glenn said, if you had loads of money and access to any IP, what miniatures game would you make? Ooh, good question, mate. I think. Oh, do you know what? I'm not that sure, if I'm honest, mate. A lot of the. I think the problem I've got is a lot of the IPs that I'm interested in already exist. So I love Star Wars. I love Batman. I'm a big fan of like Marvel stuff, like comic book type things. Like that kind of stuff exists, but unfortunately, the games or the companies themselves might not really kind of like live up to the expectations of, or the game. Yeah, the games or the companies basically making them might not live up to the expectations that I'd hope for them. So I think some of them exist basically. I think I've said before, I'd love to see some kind of like horror games, like there's some quite like dark subject matter when it comes to like sort of movies and comic books and stuff like that I feel we don't really see in tabletop gaming. I don't know if that's because it's very difficult to replicate that kind of subject matter without it just being gratuitous, if you like, and like shocking for shocking's sake. But I'd like to try. I'd like to see how we'd kind of do that. Hope that answers your question, mate. Tony says brush soap's worthwhile, definitely, mate. Tony said he found this group through Warcry, but as a game company agnostic, I found this group one of the best out there for variety. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that, mate. Let's have a look. Devon Turner says, have you thought about covering rule sets without minis? Thinking about most of the Osprey games. This is not a test, Starbreach. I have a video in the works, mate, where I will be talking about just that, about rule sets that don't have minis. And actually, there was a company that makes a rule set reached out to me this week and asked if I'd be interested in looking at their rule sets. And I said, if you can send them out to me, I'll include you in the video that I'm making. So yeah, it's not something I've spent a lot of time on in the past. So I think I'm almost a good person to kind of give my opinion. I'm coming at them with no kind of preconceived ideas. In the past, I've not been keen on them because I like minis. I like painting and stuff. But I think as I'm opening my eyes now, and as my mini collection grows, I'm opening my eyes to those kind of games. So yes, I will be covering that, buddy. More chat jumping off the top of the screen there. I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop painting for 2 minutes and have a little look and catch up on some of this stuff. Luxian, ever started painting something that you think is going to be tricky and laborious, and then you see it come together and you realise it was completely worth the effort? Mine tend to be the other way around, mate. I tend to think something, have a plan in my head of how it's going to look. I get to that halfway point where I think, oh my God, son, you've ballsed this up. But if you get past that, yeah, like, it ends up working out kind of thing. Henrik saying back when he played Warhammer, there was always lots of arguments, especially about the rules, because every unit had a needless number of special rules, which messed with overall balance. Yeah, I think, and he also said opportunity to use super cheesy tactics. Never seen that much potential for player conflict in other games. I think that was part of the business model, mate. To be fair, of how GW sold those games. They almost kind of, the new stuff came out. It was super powerful. Everybody rushes out, buys the latest thing. Everybody complains about how broken it is. GW then kind of repair it with an FAQ. Everybody complains that their new army's been nerfed, and then a new release comes out the next month, and we start again. And I kind of think that's almost their business model, really. That's part of how they operate. So it's if you're on the competitive side of gaming, I think you get a lot of angry people online. If you're in the narrative side of things, I think you just look at them and go, that's a cool new model. I really quite fancy painting that up, or I quite like to play that army because I like those new stuff, or I like the lore or the theme of the army. But yeah, I think Games Workshop games are huge. The company's big. They've got a lot of fans who everybody kind of. I think sometimes people want different things from the game, and I think sometimes that's where it becomes a little bit controversial at times. People want it to be mega competitive. They want it to be absolutely perfectly balanced, and then there's other people who absolutely just love the lore and the background and can think nothing better than just have some cool new models and some options to do things. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, I think. Scott says this community is great, very friendly and constructive with comments. Yeah, I'm really pleased you said that, mate. That's how it feels to me. Troy Rhodes, hello Troy, how are you doing? Says, have you ever played anything from One Page Rules? I haven't, mate, but that was the company I was just talking about. That's who reached out to me this week. So they've just tonight actually have sent me all 4 of their rule sets. So yeah, I'll be looking into it, mate. I've not read them yet. I haven't even opened the email. I just saw it come through. But yeah, I haven't played them yet, but I will be reading through them and seeing what I can do with them. They essentially have, basically their rule sets are free to download and free to play, and then they have a Patreon where if you want to expand that game, there's a little bit more complexity, and they do 3D printing files for miniatures for their games and stuff as well. You can join their Patreon basically and support them that way. So yeah, I'll be looking into it and telling you what I think, because I don't know a lot about them, to be fair, yet. I had a quick look at their website after they contacted me. I like the idea. They've got like a sci-fi game. I think if I remember right, they've got like a Western game. Sci-fi fantasy is a Western game as well, it might be. So they seem to have the bases covered. I have no idea whether their rules are any good or not, but that's part of the fun finding out. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll get that content up soon. Kieran says, 1 samurai down, another one, or switch to an orc head. Chat decides. Oh yeah, do it orc head, mate. Unless you've enjoyed it, and then stick with the samurai. Scott saying he would love a mascot Transformers game. Transformers might be all right, actually. I think the problem with Transformers is it suffers from a lot of these kind of things do, where it's just good and evil. So you end up with 2 factions, and that's quite difficult. Like if you go into, say, Batman, there's a bit of grey lines in there as well sometimes. And whilst you do have good and evil, sometimes the good guys fight against each other, if you like. If you think of things like Starship Troopers, if you think of things like the Halo game, there's the Marines and there's the aliens kind of thing. And whilst it sounds good on paper, you very quickly run out of options. It's one of the reasons why Walking Dead does so well, because basically you have all of these little sub-factions, basically. It was a bit of a genius idea, really, to take that as an IP. PGA Masks, my son would love that. He was watching something this morning that's on, I think it's on Netflix. And I forget what it's called now, but it looks like a kid's version of Power Rangers with like little animals. It's a cartoon thing, but he seems to love it at the minute. Nice to see him watching something else that's not Not quite so brain numbing as some of the kids' TV. He, to be fair, is quite into a number of different cartoons. So he likes a bit of Pokemon. He likes to watch like some Disney stuff as well. So at least I'm fortunate that I'm not like just stuck watching Peppa Pig every day. Or what's the other one that I really hate? There's a one on BBC, I think it is, or it might be on Channel 5, called Bing Bunny. Absolutely. Or whenever that's on, it's like I have to leave the room before I kind of scream at this kleptomaniac bunny on the TV. That seems to have this really weird like guardian parent type thing that's half his size. It's just the weirdest thing ever. Yeah, we're really going off left field now, man. We're talking about weird kids' TV shows. You just paint this little bit in here. Because my eyes are not what they used to be. Hammer Horror says Tiberius. Yeah, that'd be cool. Deep Red made it. Nice to see you in, fella. Nice to see you. Claudio saying, I'd make Dead Zone. Would maybe go for 15, 20mm Star Wars. Interesting, mate. I hadn't thought about going different scales. John France could pick any IP, would probably be on the Borderlands. That would be cool, mate. I like that idea. Tony saying Hammer and Amicus Films. Yes. Tommy Matana, nice to see you in, Tommy. How are you doing? Scott says, mind you, Andy, I want my I'm a BlackJack Arena t-shirt. I will design a BlackJack Arena t-shirt, mate. Henrik says, I read the Void Striker rules, which were quite interesting. Spaceship game with Newtonian physics. Didn't get a test at though, so I don't know how it plays. Peter Kuhlman says, miniature agnostic rule sets are a great way to use the models that you no longer use. For example, Dragon Rampart got me digging out my Warhammer Fantasy again. I've got Ash Barker's Last Days over there as well, and obviously I've got all my Walking Dead stuff, which would be perfect for that. These are the kind of things that I will get round to, so it's definitely worth kind of breaking those kind of things out. Krabby says, I disagree that a game causes arguments and conflicts. People cause conflict. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you, mate. I think what I'm trying to get at is if a game is too ambiguous, it can cause people who are prone to argue about such trivial things, If there's no room to disagree, then people tend to not disagree about stuff. Mike G says he's a sucker for Frostgrave. Use it as an excuse for his most random mini buy-in. Tony saying definitely with you on horror themed mini games. Something, yeah, I think I've mentioned that before in a live stream. Yeah, I'd like to see. Yeah, maybe that's the one I'd like to see. Actually, something based on Hellraiser. Like having those kind of like Cenobites and kind of like almost like people like the game could almost be based on kind of someone's nightmares. There was another Clive Barker thing. Is it Breed as well? Is that a Clive Barker one I'm thinking of? That would be quite cool as well, where there's this kind of like sort of under city culture of like some quite sort of strange monsters and things, sort of living in the shadows. Yeah, I just think it opens it up to some really unusual minis, and we stop focusing on the kind of the normal tropes of things like space soldiers, aliens, elves, dwarves. It kind of takes us away from some of that, and it really opens up to kind of like some really weird stuff. Speaking of weird, Malifaux is one of the games I've always loved for the lore of the game and stuff, and that the fact that it does stay away from that kind of that standard kind of repetitive tropes, if you like. It does tread new ground. The Malifaux lore is in my opinion some of the best that's out there. It's up there with kind of things like Infinity lore and 40k, I guess, if you're into that stuff. Yeah, Malifaux is something that we'll be visiting on the channel at some point in the future too. Because I think it, even if you don't have any interest in the game, I think the minis are fantastic sort of detailed sculpts. And I think so from a painter's point of view, you get to paint some really unusual stuff. And from a lore perspective, if you're just into the lore and the background of stuff, I think it really is a fantastic story. And a lot of their stuff is free online anyway, so you don't even have to buy the stuff to kind of to read about the lore. So yeah, we'll no doubt get to that at some point. Where are we at? Ben saying, if you want perfectly balanced games, play chess. Yeah, it's like if you really want balance, then just have one army list and make everybody play the same army. That I think I talked about it on a live stream once about like sort of saying that like balance is a myth, basically, that we don't really want balance. We want the idea of balance. We want the concept of being balanced. Because otherwise we'd all just play the same army, wouldn't we? We'd paint them different colours, and that's where you'd get your that's where you'd get your variety from. Like I've got a red army, you've got a blue army kind of thing. But yeah, we don't really want balance. We want it to be a challenge. We want it to be a little bit different. Let's just jump on top of my screen. Nightbreed, everybody's saying, yeah, that's probably the one I was trying to think of. Christian saying he'd like to see Avatar. Oh, sorry, I just jumped a bit further as well. John saying there's only one episode of that Animal Power Ranger thing. Prepare for it on repeat. Is there only one? Oh my God, I've not noticed that, mate. I thought it was a full series. Avatar: Last Airbender into game. Yeah, that would be good, mate, Christian. VJ says he's a huge Nintendo fan, so do a Mario mini game. Wonder how that would work. Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom. Actually, do you know what? I'm laughing about that kind of stuff. I'm surprised somebody hasn't tried to do something aimed a little bit more at kind of like a younger audience and really kind of like pulled back the rule set. Because, even just from a kind of like a hobbyist perspective, like if you had single piece miniatures and you're getting kids kind of sort of maths, English, like reading, writing, and that kind of stuff, like learning rules, maths with kind of dice rolls and stuff. I think that kind of stuff could go down really well, especially if you got the right sort of theme and the right audience. But I'm sure everybody would be up in arms about the horror of bringing mass battle combat to kids. No doubt we'd see pitchforks again, like we did with the Warhammer Adventures books. Let me just... Where are we at? Matt says, Empire of the Dead is a Victorian Gothic game that contains lots of the old horror-type characters, Jekyll and Hyde, Dracula, Holmes, Watson, werewolves. Ooh, I might have to check that out, mate. I don't think I've seen you painting some stuff up, but I don't think I know anything at all about the game. Maybe it's something I need to kind of make myself aware of, mate, because it sounds like it could be right up my street with that kind of theme. Yeah, I wouldn't say Nightbreed. Thank you very much. Nightbreed's the one I was thinking of. I knew it was Breed or something. Blade Runner could be interesting, mate, actually. Yeah, I like the idea of Blade Runner, where you could almost have your characters. You don't know whether they're replicants or not, and even like depend upon how the game went. Like something might happen. There's a board game. I'm trying to remember what it's called now. It might be Battlestar Galactica, where somebody is like the traitor, but you don't know until later on. Where are we at? Oh my God, it's all kicking off now. Mark was saying, I think a Vikings themed game would be great. Very curious to see what Mythic Games does with Hell. Yeah, Mythic Games worry me at the minute, mate. I'll be completely honest. I think I get the impression they've bitten off a little bit more they can chew when they got rid of all of their stuff from the UK. I get I feel like they've kind of lost their way a little bit. How far delayed is Solomon Kane? That's like it's so far behind. And I feel like everything they do is just Kickstarter only, and that worries me that they make something and then almost forget about it unless they've got plans for a version 1.5 or a version 2. But it depends upon if you see them as a standalone board game or you see them as a supported miniatures game. I guess that's the difference. As a one-off board game, basically, as long as it functions, it doesn't really matter that they walk away from it. Mike G, cabin in the woods, mate. Yes. The idea of kind of like not knowing what's going to come up, what's going to kind of open up from the depths. You could make a really good solo cabin in the woods game, I think, where you take or a co-op game where you take control of the different kind of teenagers in the cabin, and every couple of turns or something like that, or every turn a different kind of set of monsters come up from the cabin and underneath and come out and fight. I might even write that rule set. I like that. Tim Kelly says Red Army sucks. I don't even know what Red Army is, mate, to be fair. I think I missed there as well with Silent Hill. That would be a good one, mate. SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, My Little Pony it's an RPG, mate, but I get the impression it's not necessarily aimed at kids. That's my worry with that game. I get the impression that it might be aimed at bronies, mate. That's what they call, aren't they? Bronies, like men and women, especially men, I think, who are My Little Pony fans. It's a very strange subculture of the universe, I think, mate. Christian says, how about a game where you play as the big bad and your role is kill each sacrifice? The game controlled commoners, played as Ooh, I like the idea of that, mate. Adam's saying, hello, Adam Edgar, by the way. I don't know if I said hello to you, fella. He's saying, Mr. Krabs versus Plankton for the Krabby Patty recipe. Keeping saying, play Tales of Equestria. I've just slagged it off now as well. Disney the War Game. Steve Evans, there is a board game called Villainous, which is a Disney game, and it's meant to be really, really good. It's not just like a cheap cash-in of like Disney villains. It's a really, really well thought out game. So yeah, if you're in, and I could be wrong, mate. I don't think it has got miniatures, but it'd be cool if it did. But yeah, I've heard good things about that. I know Lee on Average Gamers podcast. I always forget the name of his co-host, to be fair. The guy that he does the podcast with, the two of them were kind of like raving about it, saying about how good it was actually, and again, basically what I've just said there, how it wasn't the kind of the cheap cash in that it could have been. You know, when you normally like you get like Disney Monopoly kind of thing. It wasn't that. It was actually a pretty good, well thought out board game. And I think there's been a few expansions for it as well, and they add quite a lot of replayability to the game. So yeah, it's amazing what some companies do actually pull this kind of thing out the bag. They don't just do that kind of cheap cash in on stuff. Let's have a look. Where are we at? Fiji is saying there, okay, GMG and Mini War Game and Dead Zone playthroughs bookmark to watch this Arvo. Yeah, let me know what you think of them, mate, because I'm keen on bat reps at the minute to understand what is it that people like about certain bat reps. Why are some bat reps better than others? Because like I've said before, I don't necessarily watch a lot of bat reps. I don't think I'm the target market for it. So I'm always interested to see why people think one is better than another. The problem being is sometimes you need a whole string of people. You need like 2 people to play the game, and I think the better ones normally have a 3rd and 4th person with kind of moving cameras and stuff. That's my biggest worry, is that would probably be the one I end up thinking, oh yeah, I can see why that's popular. Matt's going to put a link in the Facebook group. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that, mate, because that sounds right up my street. Tony Tiger saying into the Badlands. Yeah. West Wind's games are criminally overlooked. Well, maybe not for much longer, mate. Maybe it's my turn to dig in and have a look at West Wind stuff, because I'm not familiar with their stuff, if I'm perfectly honest. I think I remember seeing, what was it? There was a game that Westwind, is Secrets of the Third Reich, is that one of Westwind's games? I seem to think it is. I think that's what, I think that's maybe why I've heard of Westwind. Or do Westwind do Wolfsong? Or is that somebody else? Maybe that's what I've heard of. Well, folks, I'm cracking along quite nicely here. I don't think I'm going to be going into too much kind of highlighting and stuff on these. I might later on if I feel like I kind of feel like it, but I'm quite happy with how they're kind of turning out. They're a bit, and then to compare the two together, whoops, he's just dropping them. They're kind of, they're matching up, but they're not like completely symmetrical, if you like, even though they're actually the same miniature, those two. I've got a third one here, which I'm going to start. Actually, have I got anything else to paint on this one before I move on? No, I think we'll just crack on them. We'll just crack on and get a bit more done. For those as well, while I'm thinking on, so this is the Red Grass Games handle. They've got a Kickstarter coming soon, which Christian alerted to me. Thank you very much, Christian. Which has got the a new kind of version of this handle, actually, with removable tops, which I think is a really good addition, to be fair. Because the one thing the one thing I'd say about this one is it's so good it makes me want to have loads of them, and I think they can get quite expensive when like how at the minute how I've got corks on these. I'm just transferring them over from the corks because I used the corks when I was spray sort of priming them. You get removable heads, so that part basically removes off the new ones. It's also got a magnetic base as well, so you can kind of stick it down. I'm not sure how important that would be for me personally, but yeah, I like the idea. Where are we at? Steve saying he's just ordered it. Oh, sorry. Tiberius says, Andy, mate, you could get your Cabin in the Woods game on Ash Barker's shelf like you have on his. Who knows, mate? Do you know what it is? I think you could. You don't even have to call it Cabin in the Woods. You know what I mean? I think you could completely just use the theme without actually because it's at the end of the day the monsters that are in that film and the idea of kids in a cabin is not exactly kind of an IP infringing, is it? If you've got a werewolf, if you've got your own kind of monsters and stuff, it's hardly IP infringing, I don't think. So I think that's even a possibility. I might even consider thinking about that, to be fair. I've always thought about doing my own game, but to be fair, it's not even like the mechanics and stuff of how the game works that I would struggle with. It will be the theme and the idea, and because once you get the theme and the idea, you kind of your rules and your stats and stuff then become like based upon your theme, don't they? If you haven't got your theme, all you're doing is you've got a load of mechanics that don't necessarily mean anything. Yeah, who knows? I'm sure there's plenty of places like Hassle Free and stuff have some great kind of like monsters kind of stuff, and there's plenty of like standard kind of sort of weird alien creatures and stuff that would stand in for a lot of it. So yeah, who knows, mate? This time next year might be me sitting down with Osprey Games. Who was it? Was it I forget who it was now. Was it you, Tony, that just said about Cabin in the Woods? I'll have to credit you in the book, mate, with the original idea. That'll be quite cool. Something in the future like that to look forward to. Who knows where this could all end up? Could be the next GW. Unlikely. Right, let's get back to some of the chat as well. Tiberius is saying both Dracula's America did nothing with it. I almost bought the book actually just because I like the theme of it. Steve's saying he's just ordered it for his missus. I don't think you'll be disappointed, mate. I've heard it's great. Flying Mammal, hello Flying Mammal. I didn't know you were here. Hiding in the background. Says Disney Villainous is an amazing game. Can be confusing at first with the way the rules for each characters are written, but once you play it, it's great. Yeah, to be fair, it's the kind of thing I might pick up myself as well, because it's the kind of thing that I think Lou would enjoy as well. Something that's a bit different, rather than the kind of like the usual stuff that most of my board games tend to have as subject matter. How are you, Ruth? How are you feeling? How's things treating you at the minute? Hope you're not too bad. Hope you're managing to stay sane at these troubled times, because it's pretty tough for everyone at the minute. Bat reps tend to be very much personal taste. Yeah, that's kind of my issue. I think basically, I think there is people's personal tastes. However, the ones that do it really well, I think people generally agree. Oh yeah, they do a really good job of it, kind of thing. So I just need to figure out what's the best way to kind of cover that kind of thing. But I'll find my groove. I'll find the bit that I enjoy doing, because what I don't want to do is do it a way that I find is really dull, or is a real sort of bitch to edit and put together again. I need to enjoy it at the end of the day. So we'll find it. We'll find it. Deep Red said bought Game of Thrones Risk and it doesn't come with enough pieces. It's impossible to play. Why do some games do that kind of stuff? Not by Fantasy Flight by any chance, is it? Scott says that's what I've been watching since the Monday live streams. Barrels on Dead Zone. Yeah, I think that the beauty with Dead Zone is it's a relatively simple rule set. It's the basics are kind of like, they're really simple to get your head around. The tactics come in kind of knowing what to do and stuff, like how to link those actions together to get the best out of it. And I'm looking forward to diving back into that kind of stuff. Yeah, will be fun. VJ says love personalities, handheld, calm, and full gameplay with dice rolls, rules, modifiers explained along the way. Yeah, I think that's kind of potentially my preferred one. I certainly won't be doing sort of competitive type of bat reports. It's not about, if you're wanting to learn sort of tactics and stuff, you know, my stuff's probably not for you. But if you want to know how to play a game, how a game plays, you want to see a good story, yeah, then maybe you come to the right place. So, well, I've quite enjoyed painting dinosaurs tonight, and I think it's potentially because it's just something a bit different. It's like, it's not I'm not painting any skin, like human skin, if you like, human flesh. I'm not having to do any kind of majorly fine detail work. I'm not kind of I'm not too worried about how they look. I'm just kind of like letting the brush do the work and seeing what comes out the other side, kind of thing. It just been quite nice to do something a bit different, and I would encourage folks to do that as well. You know, I would encourage folks to just try painting something a little different once in a while as a bit of a refresh, just to refresh your palette. Bit of a palette cleanser, that's the word I was thinking of. That's where things like Burrs and Badges and that comes in. It's so different from everything else. It's such a nice thing to be able to paint something different. And I honestly, I promise, mine are midway through being done. I keep diving in every now and again and just doing a little bit more, and just, you know, just even if it's sometimes halfway through painting something, I just need a little break. I'm waiting for something to dry. I'll do a bit more of my Burrs and Badges stuff. It's just nice just to have something that a little bit different. And again, it's never going to be like a majorly competitive game kind of thing. So it's nice just to paint for the love of just painting something a bit different. Yeah. Claudio says, still thinking about doing Dead Zone Warpath Lore series at some point, since Monday's stream can't get it out of my head. I think, mate, that those kind of lore stuff it's something I've considered as well, especially for the kind of like the lesser covered games, because one of the things that like introduces people to games sometimes is the story in the background. Like people go, oh wow, I didn't realize that's what the game was about. That was why I thought it was useful on the live stream, just to talk about what actually a dead zone was, like where does the name come from. I just thought it was quite a nice thing to just to give a little bit of background on. But yeah, do it, man, do it. I'm sure it'll go down a storm because the background's good. Sorry, kind of got sidetracked there looking at the miniature there. Yeah, the background's good, and the game deserves a bit more attention these days. It seems like for whatever reason it feels like it's kind of picking up a bit of momentum at the minute. I don't know what's started that. Is it like just is it the lockdown stuff's giving people like a different perspective on games and things, or people are more willing to try different stuff? But yeah, long may it continue. Even if GW are starting to open up again a little bit. Just feathering in that kind of underbelly blue again into the tail a little bit. Just trying to get a bit of, it's not quite such a hard edge to it. I'm painting on the face there as well. Lower jaw, because randomly I think I missed it before. Glenn said he watched the Bat Rep yesterday for Midwinter Minis, about 40k. What I enjoyed about it was the banter between the guy and his girlfriend, and the pace was good. Yeah, to be fair to the guy, and I don't know his name, I'm relatively new to seeing his stuff on YouTube, but he's making the most of it while he's kind of in lockdown, and he's getting his girlfriend to kind of make some content with him as well, and I'm sure she's absolutely loving that. Yeah, he's making the most of it, to be fair. He's the guy that did the stuff about showing his girlfriend just how much stuff that he's got unpainted, basically, wasn't it? Which was a brave video. I actually asked my wife about would she do a video with me about like painting her first ever miniature, and she went, yeah, if you want me to, I will do. And then about 3 days later, somebody else did the exact same topic, and I thought, no, I'm not doing it now. It looks like I'm just copying somebody else's work now. Luke says, stick a fork in him. He's done one Python just to base. Nice one, mate. Well done. VJ says, other people like overhead cams turn some reason couldn't care less about the players unless they're using tournament tactics. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it, and then take the feedback and see what happens. Claudia said, yeah, it's crazy now. Oh, where was this one? Bros and Badgers who said that. Adam says, that's why I've gone into Mantic with you guys and grabbed some Bros and Badgers. Yeah, that's nice, man. What was that comment about? Deep Red, sorry. Game of Thrones risk. Only one YouTuber mentioned it. Just shows how many reviewers actually bother to play it. So I don't watch their uploads anymore. Yeah, Claudio's saying crazy now. Dead Zone seems to be mentioned more often than 40k. It's taken it. I think 40k is quieting down just because people can't buy new stuff at the minute. But do you know what it is? It does put into perspective the fact that because GW release so much stuff, that's what keeps it on everyone's lips. And then as soon as they haven't been able to release new stuff, and to be fair, for 40k, the reveals and stuff didn't really do them any favours because there wasn't a lot of 40k stuff in those reveals. It's not that people have stopped talking about it. It's just not top of mind all of the time. It's not the first thing people always talk about. Oh, have you seen the new stuff? Have you seen that new thing? I mean, the only thing people are talking about at the minute is that new Katachan thing, which essentially is basically supposed to be trying to help out GW's like friendly local gaming stores, and all that's happened is they're getting scalped all over the place because each store's getting about 2 or 3 of them. VJ is saying that's the thing. He tried Midwinter, wasn't his jam. Camera shots are too close, explanations too cinematic, not enough. We're playing a tabletop game for fun. Yeah, I think that's what I was just saying, mate. Basically, I'll do it my way. I think the way that I feel comfortable doing it, and let's see what people think. If everyone hates it, I'll not do it again. I think that's probably the best way for me. Otherwise, I'm constantly chasing my tail, trying to find what's right and what's wrong. And that doesn't work for anybody that way, does it? So yeah, I'm just cracking on with these dinosaurs. I did one of the small ones before the stream. I put some contrast paint on one of them just to see how it would look with just contrast paint on. That's dried now. So I think I'll contrast them and then pick out some details. There's a slight, I don't know if you can see the difference in colour. It's much more greeny, I think. They look very similar on the screen actually, but they're not in real life. Or I might just try kind of like a slightly different colour, like sort of making my own wash with the Lamy and medium of a different colour, just to make them stand out a little bit more. How are we doing for time? 20 to 11. Wow, that time's flown by. That has gone fast. How are we doing for 64 people in? Bloody hell. I'm not used to getting folks to come in and wash me paint like that. Well, I am. I mean, I'm being a bit disingenuous there, to be fair. I am used to it now, but it's like I never expect it. I never expect folks to just come along and watch me paint. Claudia says, I think it's an awesome idea with your little background infos. It tipped me off and I think it's essential for a game. Yeah, I did something similar with, what was it, the other games I've done it for as well? I forget now, but yeah, I intend to do it more often. I think talking about the lore of a game and stuff is, it really does kind of give people a flavour about where's, what grounds this game? Why should I care about these factions? Like why are this? Like why should I choose this one? Like yes, I like the models, but what are they actually fighting for? What's the purpose of them in this game? I think that kind of stuff can really lift it to new players, especially. And coming back to what I was saying before, like my bat rep stuff will be much more sort of narrative focused. I'll be kind of telling a story really, so it's not going to be about tactics and it's not going to be about sort of how to win tournaments. So hopefully that's the kind of thing that people might want to see. Flying Mammal, give a little wave there as well. Claudia says Star Wars Legion has it, 40k has it. You need to imagine battles, so lore is a big driving point. I think that's where 40k and I think Star Wars is kind of benefited is that basically it's kind of so ingrained in people's like memories, if you like. If you're into war games, you know what those games are about already. Like even if you've never played 40k, you kind of know the Space Marines are the good guys and allegedly the good guys, but they're trying to kind of protect the world from the Xenos threats and that kind of stuff. And you know that like the about chaos in the warp, and you know about sort of the Emperor and the Horus Heresy type stuff, all of that kind of things. You pretty much know the basics. So VJ said he likes the mini war gaming and GMG style, although GMG can be annoying when Ash either gets shitty when he's losing or arrogant when he's winning. I know exactly what you mean, mate. Steve says he's the same with his bros and badges. A couple of models on there to work, just as a bigger project. Yeah. Adam says his name is Guy. Yes, that's the fellow, isn't it? Guy and Penny. Adam says she knows a bit of stuff now and then. I didn't realize she only did stuff. I thought it was just like lockdown stuff. Throatsaw, hello sir, how are you doing? He says I saw that Bat Rep 2. It was cheeky fun. We've been playing Space Crusade. It's a nice change of pace, mate. Krabby Vision saying in the world of miniature painting gaming, if you're a woman on a thumbnail, I recommend you must triple your views at last. It's both true and a shame, really, to be fair, because I think what it sometimes does is it almost kind of what's the word I'm looking for? There are some female YouTubers, like gaming YouTubers, who are very, very good. And I think it almost kind of tars them with that same brush of, oh, well, you're only getting those views because you're a woman or because you're female. And I think that's a real shame, because some of them are fantastic. There are some, however, who get the views because they're female, unfortunately, and that's just life. In the same way that sort of men and women are not equal in everything, even when they should be, or not treated equal, I should say, as opposed to they should be equal. They're not treated equally. The bias goes the other way sometimes, and that's one of those examples. Night Ruth, so you're heading off now, so thanks for popping in. Henrik says, just too many times you want to talk about Space Marines. Yeah, but do you know what my biggest problem is with Space Marines? And it's not even a GW thing. It's the fact that every other company then just tries to kind of replicate what they do, as opposed to kind of... It's like, if you want to do a sci-fi game, or well, you have to have those kind of like space soldiers, because that's what people expect. And that's a bit of a shame, I think. Really, it doesn't always need to have space soldiers in it. It can have different things. Where are we at now? Marco's heading off as well. Night, Marco. Thank you very much for popping in, mate. Bazza's in as well. Nice to see you, Bazza. Scott says you should do a challenge Andy back rep. If we win, you get a BlackJack Legacy mug. I did that once, mate, and it was with Steve Evans. I was supposed to be playing him at Kings of War, and I never got a chance through one thing or another. So he got the mug anyway. But yeah, I think I'll do that, mate. I'm happy to do that once lockdown's over and stuff. We'll do a challenge Andy thing. It kind of just brings a little bit of fun into it. It's not meant to be uber competitive. It's just about, it's a little encouragement to get people to play. I'm happy with that, mate. I assume you'd be up for it, Scott, no doubt. I assume you'd want to come to BlackJack Towers and challenge me to something. As long as you don't win, mate. Make me look bad. We all know my dice rolls are awful. That's why actually the Drowned Earth might work in my favour, and Infinity, because you got to roll low. So it might actually give me a chance. In fact, in Drowned Earth and in this Elia Chronicles, if you roll a 1, that's a huge success. So, yeah. Who knows, mate? Who knows? Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint these ones a very slightly different colour, just to make it stand out from the other two. Just with a lighter, kind of more pinky rather than a purple. I'll do this one very slightly differently. Concentrating now, trying to get those really fine little spikes on the back. They are on camera at least. I always clean it up, mind you. This is where the hairs are getting like flicked off the little spiky bits on it. It's spiky bits. Don't get me started. Where we are. Throat sauce in. Definitely do it your own way. You've got your own communication style, and that will lead to your own style of presentation. Yeah, I think that's the plan, mate. Thank you for that. I think that's the plan, really. I don't really want to replicate other people's stuff. I just wonder if what I don't want to do is spend like 2 days editing something for everyone to just go, oh God, why did he do it like that? Everyone knows that doesn't work. So I've done some back reps in the past. It's not like I've never done them before, and they've been sort of genuinely decently received, really. I think people seemed to like them, so I'll just continue with that. I think continue with that method of doing them. Peter's saying, yeah, that law is probably the reason it does so well. I think so, mate. Probably off to sing the missus to sleep. Poor lass, mate. night, mate, anyway. Claudio saying, "Night Krabby, sweet dead zone dreams." Steve says, "Oh yeah, you still owe me that game, mate. My orcs are still waiting." I was going to say, at least I'll have the dwarves this time, mate. At least I'll actually have them. But I 100%, mate. We were going to play again, mate, weren't we, at the 1,000 point weekend? So at some point, mate, we will get to actually have our game. The gods are conspiring against us at the moment, but we'll get there, mate. We'll get there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. You can teach me a thing or two. Yeah, completely zoned out there. How are we doing for time? 10 to 11. I think I'll probably wrap it up about 11 o'clock, folks. Because I think I'll probably put the stripes on. I'll put the markings on this this pretty boy here, and then we'll probably call it a night. Up early again in the morning with the little fella while my wife's working. So I've never really been one for kind of staying up late, to be fair. I've always been a bit of an early bird and early to rise kind of thing, but I'm starting to find at the minute I'm enjoying having a bit of a later night, and I think it's because I haven't got an alarm to get up for now. I used to set an alarm for work. Because I haven't got an alarm now, I feel like it's I just feel more relaxed. I think I'm just sleeping better, which means I'm not as tired on the night time. So even though I'm still getting up early with the little one, really, and I'm seeing it early, like it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock type stuff. I'm just so much more relaxed with the world now because I'm getting to do this for my full-time gig, and because the stress of the job I used to have basically disappeared. I think I'm just sleeping so much better. I get up in the morning and I'm looking forward to kind of, to like what have I got to do today? I've got my where's my book? I've got like my that's not that one actually. It's here. I've got, if I can reach it for me without pulling my microphone out. I've got my notebook that I had made, and this is where I've got all my to-do lists of all the bits of jobs and things that I need to do for the channel and stuff for my job, like chase up this person, email this one, the list of all the different companies I've contacted, and like have I followed up on it? Have they got back to me yet? All that kind of stuff. I'm just finding it really freeing, but I also think it's like working for myself as well. Like having my own business has always been something I've always wanted to do. I just never thought it would be this. And I'm treating it like a business, to be fair. Like I say, I had like a proper meeting today with a company to discuss kind of working together now and in the future about like sort of how could they support me with product. If I kind of covering their games and things, but I'm only contacting the companies that I actually want to play their games. I'm not just putting a blanket email out to everybody. Let's have a look. Scott says, let's jump off the chat. I only had one comment on the bottom of the screen there when I looked before. How to lose a lot. To be honest, I'm not worried about winning. I'm quite happy just to take part. Luke saying, love those colours you use, Andy, and I need to find the right thing to use them on as it pops so well. I think it's, like I say, mate, I am not a good painter, but I think colour theory just comes quite natural to me, I think. So I seem to pick the right colours, but I don't necessarily, I don't always execute it in the best way. John France, I'm still trying to do a game of Dreadball as well. 100% John France. We'll get a game in as well. Luke saying, I've always been one of those people that doesn't need sleep. I've always been better at 1 or 2 and then up at 6 or 7. I need my sleep, mate. Honestly, I need to like reset. I find if I'm eating healthy and I'm exercising a lot, I used to do a lot of running before and sort of like a lot of gym stuff. If I'm exercising and eating right, I can get away with a lot less sleep. But I really like. It's almost like my brain needs that mental shut off. I need to kind of like close out one day And my brain's normally really, really active as well. So what I end up doing is like overthinking a million different things. So when I go to bed, I put my headphones in and I listen to like a podcast or I listen to like an audiobook. And that sound of that kind of like almost zones my brain out and I drift off really quick. But I feel like refreshed the next morning, like ready to go again kind of thing. But I need a good sleep kind of thing. But yeah, it's interesting, that's for sure. It's interesting. I definitely seem to be sleeping better anyway, but I think it's purely just kind of, I'm just so much more relaxed these days, so much happier in general. And it's weird that it's come at a time when that actually, like, mentally, it would normally be a very stressful time because of the lockdown stuff. Where else we at? Peter saying, do you use the GW colour thingy to choose colours which go? I've used it in the past. You mean the colour app thing? I've used it in the past really just to kind of see what the, like, you know, what they're called. They're called like a tri colours with like a base, so like a base, a shade, and a highlight colour type thing. But yeah, in general, mate, I just kind of a lot of what I've learned really. One of the best pieces of advice I was ever given was if you're ever like not quite sure what you should, like what colours go together, was like look at like football shirts, you know, like American football shirts or like UK football shirts and stuff. Because somebody with like a design qualification has decided those colours go really well together, and they tend to be colours that like contrast a little bit as well. And that was kind of where I think it started for me. And then I obviously started to use like understand colour wheels and things like that and colour theory. But I think it comes relatively natural. I must just kind of have an eye for colour. I'm just not a very good painter. Scott said he's watched my Vanguard and Walking Dead back reps. Love the relaxed attitude. Yeah, I think that's how I am. That's all I could do really. Throat Sauce says a real notebook. That's the way. Exactly, mate. There's something to do with when I need to kind of. I'm a very like visual learner, and if I type something up and it's on a computer and I have to go and switch the computer on and go and read it and stuff, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. If I write it down, it's almost the act of physically writing it almost kind of cements it in my mind. I've got like a notice board, like, you know, like a dry whiteboard over here with all of the plans for videos and stuff. So I can kind of like set the next 2 months out of what content I need to make and what by what date does this need to be done. And like, it's all kind of on the board over there. I just work better with like it being like in my line of sight and stuff, and leaving notebooks about and stuff is another one of those things I think for me. Stephen Pegg, good evening, Stephen. How are you doing? He's saying, just found the channel, looking good, very chilled feel. Thank you very much, mate. Very easy to paint and listen in the background. Look forward to checking out your other content. Thanks, mate. Very kind of you to say so, mate. Yeah, and Claudio's saying it's like being amongst friends. That's kind of the point, mate, isn't it? It's always just about kind of chilling out with mates. Robert's off as well. So he's finished what he's working on. He's got to go now. Take care, mate. Where are we at? Claudio saying, bye, Robert. Sweet and red zone afternoon thoughts. Tony saying to Steve as well, welcome aboard. Give the Facebook page a look too. Really great atmosphere. Loads of interesting stuff. Yeah, thanks, Tony. I appreciate the plug there. Scott saying likes the colour scheme, might do that for his Yujing. So the colours I've used, mate, are actually, some of them are quite old colours. I've used Oriman Blue, I think it's called, which is a Citadel colour. The purple I used on the other ones was an old Lish purple or Lich purple, Lish purple, but I think there's an equivalent of that. And the other colour I've just used there is Screamer Pink. So yeah, so they're all available colours, mate, anyway. Don't you wake up with the earphones all twisted up though, mate? I don't move, mate. I literally stay in one position all night. I sleep right on the edge of the bed, so if I moved I would fall out. And I kind of curl up and I sleep right down the edge of the bed. So what I do is I have one headphone in the side of my head that's not on the pillow, and I literally wake up in exactly the same position. I don't toss and turn or anything like that. Tim Kelly saying looking good. He's saying should be a loudspeaker as well. My missus is asleep as well, to be fair though. Pomsy saying, wish I was as organised as you. I'm pretty good with that kind of stuff, to be fair. I'm pretty organised in general. Luke said, I second the Facebook group. Great bunch of members. Thank you, Luke. You being one of them, of course. And Scott says, I have those colours anyway, mate. Cheers. Nice one. BJ says, Bluetooth earbuds. Only problem is you lose them in the bed sheets. I got some Bluetooth earbuds for my birthday off my mother and father-in-law, and I use them in the gym and stuff, and when I'm going for a walk. But if I wear them in bed, I do kind of like they sometimes kind of drop out. So yeah, lose them in the bed sheets. Too right. Right, I'm gonna put the yellow eye in, I think, because we're coming up to 11 o'clock. And to be fair, I mean, other than basing them, which will not take me too long, I think they're pretty much good to go for the back rep. I'm going to wait until everything's dry and just pick out the teeth with a little bit of white, just to make the teeth pop a little bit. I'll do their claws while I'm here as well. Stephen, you just saying there, cheers guys, looking forward to getting to know the community. Tell me a little bit about you, mate. Whereabouts are you based? Peter Nicholas, thank you very much. Says your drinks cabinet seems a bit low. Thank you for the donation, buddy. Look, I told you that water would last me all night. I must have drank about that much water. My throat's getting dry now. Claudio saying, even if you don't like us, the videos are still good. Thank you, mate. Daniel saying, got to get back working. Have an awesome day. Take care, Daniel. Thanks for coming in, mate, as always. Speak to you soon, mate. And there it is. Yeah, Peter Nicholas, thank you very much. Drink cabinet seems a bit low. Yeah, there's something funny now. It's random. So when I was doing these live streams on Mondays, when it was just like when I'd been to work all day, I'd had a horrible day. I'd come into the live stream, hang out with you lot. I'd kind of crack open a beer or a glass of wine or something, and I'd kind of just do my stream with a beer in hand. It's weird now that this is my job. I kind of feel like I shouldn't be drinking on the job. It's a bit weird. No doubt I'll have to get back out of that. Because it's quite nice just sitting with a beer. Like if I was just sitting painting on a night, I'd quite happily just sit and paint with a glass of wine or something, or a beer, or a little drop of whiskey or something. It wouldn't bother me. But because I'm on live stream, I don't want to give the impression that the more live streams I do, I don't want to make it look like I drink all the time. I'm not really that much of a drinker, to be fair. Tony says, listening while painting tonight has been lockdown gold. Tony, you are a gent, sir. Thank you very much. Claudia says, I'm getting heat here, it seems. Luke says, any BlackJack arenas in my neck of the woods, South Norfolk, near Cambridgeshire, border of Ely. I used to spend a little bit of time Cambridge away, mate. I used to go down to, what's it called again? Huntington. I used to go to Huntington, mate, on a weekend. My ex-father-in-law used to run a car boot sale at a racecourse there, and I used to go down and help him out for a bit of extra cash. And I'm going back a number of years ago now. Paul says, get a nice litre of Glen's vodka. I'd never heard of Glen's vodka until my sons were telling me about it recently, about what the kids drink with a cheap vodka. Steve says he's over in Essex, mainly play at Wayland, but trying to push out in the community more. Play all sorts of for the last 20 years, but mainly GW Warhammer. Nice to have you involved, mate. Don't worry about kind of being the last 20 years, mate. Like, I mean, I'm no spring chicken. I'm 45 almost. There's plenty of people in this community that are a real mix of ages and stuff as well. Some of them are even older than me. So yeah, you're welcome, mate. Welcome to be part of it, buddy. Where are we at? Tybreeze is saying, I find having a drink makes me pain better. You're loose and you don't overthink it. I mean, you've seen how slow I drink. I can't even get through a glass of water. This wasn't even half full when I started the live stream. Claudia saying, don't worry about the drinking in work. Just maybe don't drink when doing deals with companies. What I don't want them to do is to tune in and think, he's a bloody alky. Every time we turn into a live stream, he's got a glass in his hand. Luke's about 20 minutes or so from Huntington. Nice, mate. At least I know that neck of the woods. It's not a bad drive for me, actually. It's pretty much straight down the A1, isn't it? Down the M1, I think it is. straight down the east coast of the country. Scott saying nothing about having a chill and having a drink while you work. Not like your boss will sack you for being intoxicated. There is that thing, mate, to be fair. Peter says, I'll see if I can get a bottle or two of small beers for next Monday. Julian Ankers, nice to see you in, mate. Said, oh, sorry. It did, and then it disappeared. I don't know what it said. Stephen Pike says, cheers, guys. You are welcome, mate. Welcome to the community. Julian says he's 51. Steve says, are you being ageist now? I'm just saying we are of all ages and abilities in my case. And Pomsy saying alcoholism is more acceptable these days. I saw a thing the other day. I was like on Facebook or something where it said like pre-lockdown, when you're taking out all of the you're taking all the empty bottles to the recycling bin and you're saying to the neighbours, I'm not an alcoholic, we just had a party. It says now during the lockdown, it's like you're taking all the empties going out. Honestly, I've just got a drink problem. We didn't have a party, I promise. Interesting. So, folks, I think I'm going to call it a night there. We have managed to paint 1, 2, and 3 of these dinos. Please watch out. It'll probably be next week, I think, now before this goes up. But the Kickstarter for this game goes live on Tuesday. I'll probably give you a little nudge about it on Monday as well for the on the live stream. I'll talk about it. But I think we might get the video up for this. If not Monday, it'll be up Tuesday at the latest anyway. Because obviously I'm waiting for a few more miniatures to come tomorrow. So I'll need to get on top of them and then get filmed this weekend, I think. But, yeah, thank you very much. Busy sitting there. I don't think anyone will think you're an alcoholic when you want with one of those small beers in the last 2 live streams. I think it might have been the same beer over 2 streams, mate, the way it was. Julian's been painting Star Wars Legion core set with his daughters this evening. Please do post some pictures, mate. I'd love to see them. And nice to see that you've been painting with a family as well. Joachim said he's 40 plus and a beginner at miniature games and painting. This community really suits me. It's funny because I mean, I keep saying it, this is now my full-time job kind of thing. It's not the kind of thing where when I get like 50 or 55, I'm not suddenly too old to do it, because all of you lot will be getting older alongside me as well. Like I'd love to think in like 5 or 6 years time, like when this is kind of really established, you're all still there as well, kind of thing. So yeah, it'd be really cool. It's funny thinking of it like that. I think there are other communities for everybody basically, but we seem to be a nice friendly bunch here, I think. Pomsy saying, cheers all, much love. Thank you, Pomsy. Don't forget, folks. What was I going? I was almost going to give the wrong name up there, mate. I was going to say Six is the Hit, which used to be a blog of one of my friends. Yeah, Pom. You know what? My mind's gone blank. It's that time of the night, mate. Oh God, Six in the Head. I'm really sorry, mate. I forgot the name there. Please check out Six in the Head on Twitter. You will find his. Oh God, you can tell it's been a long night. You'll find his magazine, his online magazine, music and tabletop stuff. Please do check it out. It's an awesome read. It's up to issue 3 now. So if you've not started reading them, there's 3 issues for you to read. Thank you very much. Sorry, Pomsy. I absolutely butchered. I was trying to do you a favour and I butchered it, mate, right at the last minute. Tony saying, just hold the little bottles of the close to the camera. They look bigger. Good tips, mate. You sound like you've used that tactic before somewhere. Claudia saying, I won't be here. Steve is. And everyone's saying sort of goodbye stuff. Tony said, I'll be with you and behaving badly in my retirement home. Phil says, do you like Cradle of Filth? I assume you mean the band, mate, not just like my bed's a bit of a mess. I don't know a lot about their music, but I have seen the film. The film's called Cradle of Filth, I think, isn't it? I think it is. With Danny Filth, the lead singer, is in the film. It's quite a good British horror film, actually. So I can't say I've listened to the music, but I'm aware of them, mate. I'm not really into the kind of really heavy metal type stuff, to be fair. I think on next Monday's live stream, I'll tell you about the kind of music that I'm into. So, folks, 11 here for me. I'm going to wash my brushes and pack everything away, and I will see you in. If I don't see you in a video before next Monday, I'll see you in next Monday's live stream. And if you're one of my Patreons, I'll see you in the Patreon chat. Night all. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month, and there is lots of different tiers and bonuses which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.